Error occurred. Wait a moment and then try again. That's all I'm fucking getting.
That's messed up.
Oh, there we go.
Hey,
fucking
you found it,
dude. I'm not supposed to start. I'm not supposed to start off with the stream with an F word. I think I stopped soon enough. Hopefully not. But holy cow, like StreamYards is being like severely like mentally ill this evening, like straight tardo. Like, yeah. I literally we've hit that button like 6 times tonight. We had to go in, go back out. I was trying to catch all of these fools talking trash in the background, and it's not panning out. It didn't pan out. It just didn't pan out. So let's hope everything's working. Let's hope you guys can see us on the live streams and hear us and everything else, because what a mess. All right.
No surprise attack this time. Sorry.
I know. I'm actually really sad about that. I'm really sad about that.
We were having a good conversation too. It'd have been a good one.
I know. That's the best part, because like we've got all like conspiracy theory wheels, and we had to like work out miscommunications in the background, and it worked out great. And like now everybody's happy and fun and gay and stuff. And I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of
now I'm perfect and make no mistakes.
Whoa, well,
everything's fine from here.
You're
right?
live.
yeah, that's not the case. She's a woman. That's never gonna happen. That's the reason why all the problems went wrong. Just ask the Acolyte, after all, boys and girls. I mean, that was a show made by women for women, and yeah, how'd that end up panning out?
Oh man, I saw clips of it, and I don't know, it just looked all right. The whole premise of it has really ruined it for me. Like, I kind of like the Filoni with the witches from Clone Wars and stuff. That sounded kind of cool. But like, why go back before the prequels and mess around with stuff? Like it just, and then not even like try to stay toward it. Maybe they were building up to it. I don't know. I didn't watch, but it didn't seem like they were going to be talking about, was it Darth Plagueis or whatever? So
yeah, Darth Plagueis. Yeah,
what's the point?
Yeah, well, because that's definitely one of the topics of discussion this evening, because we'll get into that, because that shit's fucking hilarious, and people are out there having meltdowns, and I love things like that, and it's hilarious. We get to laugh at them a lot. What do you mean? No, see you here. Refresh over on Rumble. Refresh Rumble. Let's find out.
Uh-oh.
Hopefully Rumble's working okay tonight. No, yeah, Rumble's
Is it supposed to just be the background, Jesse, or are we supposed to
it's just no, it's supposed to just be the background right now. Okay, yeah, no, Rumble's working just fine. No, Madhouse is just high. Madhouse, refresh. Refresh, Madhouse.
So just a heads up, I have right after, well, I guess that's an hour from now, roughly, I have another show that I have to be on. So I will probably get that out early. So.
Well, that works. Well, let's go ahead and get this party started tonight, boys and girls. Here's your wonderful intro. Tonight, guys, it's just with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens. And welcome to Winding Down Wednesdays, boys and girls. That wonderful little day of the week, a wonderful Wednesday where we get together and chit chat about all the wonderful things going on out there in the world. And also do one of my favorite parts about having a channel and being able to do this, because one of the things we talk about on this channel all the time, almost like nonstop, because the algorithm loves it and we love it and you guys love hearing Common Nerd rant, is to roast all of the nonsense that's going on out there in the mainstream media. But tonight is one of the fun things we got to do, because if we are going to roast them, And if they do not correct themselves, we will always need entertainment. We'll always need escapism. We'll always need good stories. And part of that is building our own parallel economy, making ourselves uncancelable, making it sure that where we always have somewhere to run, somewhere to turn to and go, we don't need you anymore. And that's kind of the idea about that tonight. So we're going to have Aaron on tonight. We're going to talk about Immortal Rising 2, because boys and girls, a lot of time people are always like, ooh, I don't know about the first issue. I don't know. Is it ever going to go anywhere? Going to see. Well, this guy's certified. We're already on issue number 2, so you know this one's going somewhere. So we're going to chit chat with Aaron tonight. We're going to promote the Hades out of his book and then talk about some of the other crazy things going on out there, because obviously Acolyte has been canceled. Alien Romulus is actually doing pretty well with the box office. It's also done pretty well with the audience score over there on Rotten Tomatoes. Hopefully Diesel will get to drop in tonight and give us his rundown on that one as being our resident alien nerd out there. And then, of course, there's some cool stuff going on. We're getting a lot of announcements from One Piece this week. Another one of those good alternatives to a lot of the Western nonsense that's going on with BS. Some great storytelling. So we've got a lot of cool announcements with that this week that we're going to chit chat about as well. But we're going to say hi to all of you fabulous folks out there in the chat as soon as I get done saying hi to my beautiful co-hosts. And then we'll turn it over to Aaron, let him give some of his superhero origin story. And then, of course, we're going to promote that beautiful, beautiful comic he's got going on out there. So to start all of that off this evening, the girl that's sorry for having great tits and correct opinions, our dear, sweet, tiny, but fierce. How are you, my dear?
I'm okay. I'm getting by today.
Nice rag.
Thank you. I wish it was mine.
Oh, trust me. I'm sure all of your friends do as well. I'm sure all of your friends do as well. I'm glad you're here, dear. Glad you're here. Hope you'll be able to stick around long enough to talk about some fun One Piece stuff, because I think that should be fun.
Absolutely.
But Christy of Flip City Magazine, our Kitty Flips, how are you, my dear? What's going on with you? Do you have fun things going on with the magazine? What's up? What's going on in your corner of the...
There's nothing but fun happening at our magazine, but we just got in the print edition of volume 21. Here it is. So we just got that in our hands on Friday and shipped it out on Monday. So my wrists are a little arthritic. And happy hump day to everybody. Winding up
happy
Wednesday
hump
for
day.
me.
Winding up towards the weekend.
Jesse's busy.
I know. It's
a boogie.
Yeah. No, yeah. But yeah, no. We're gonna have a baby visitor here in just in a moment here shortly. So wife's gonna run and get a few things taken care of. So yeah, so that'll be fun. That'll be fun. We're gonna have a baby visitor here in a moment. You can just bring her over here instead of bothering with that.
I know, but just in case she wants to.
Okay. This is a family-friendly show, by the way, boys and girls.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean we smoke pot, eat mushrooms, and get drunk on these streams, and then sometimes we have kids in the background. It's a great thing. I think don't tell YouTube.
She's getting so big.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called parenting and having 5 kids.
It happens.
You have 5?
Oh,
Wow.
she's
Yeah.
getting so big.
Yep.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, 6th one's on the way. Mwah.
Dang. Congrats again. Dang, dude.
Like Cabbage Patch.
That's real wealth, sir.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, and that's the thing about it. It's like, and I mean, we can get, I've gone into this a million times, but like, I did get blessed enough. Like, I lost my job March of the year before last, so 23. And I had to go into doing this full time. And fortunately enough, I've got probably like, we talk about the fellowship and like Gary and all that kind of stuff. And we're all kind of like adjacent to all of that kind of stuff. And I flat out tell everybody I've got the best chat in the fellowship, because they turned a guy that had a 4,000 subscriber channel, kept him afloat doing that. And then when that channel got nuked and we went to strictly Rumble, they've kept me afloat and kept me doing this as my full-time job the entire time. And it's cool.
Nice.
The great benefit is like, I'm the guy here when the kids get off school, they're not going to daycare. They're not coming home to an empty house. I might be yelling at them on occasion, but at least I'm here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of one of the joys. And it's, one of the reasons why I cling to all of this stuff. And it's one of those things, like the reason why I do this is so they get good stories. You know what I mean?
Right on.
I've got a million good stories from generations gone past of things that I love, but I need things that I can pass down to them. And the new Batman Cape Crusader ain't exactly something that I'm going to be sharing with my kids. You know what I mean? But if Immortal Rising and Jupiter and Mythicals and all the rest of these, I mean, Mythicals would be a great like Gargoyles-esque cartoon. You know what I mean? I mean, like, so we've got like a garage of great creators that it's just, Rome wasn't built in a day and neither was Walt Disney World.
There's a lot going on in the indie scene right now. Yeah.
And
definitely.
unfortunately, it's so much easier to destroy something than to build something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
blow,
well,
you can
it
blow up
takes
an
a long
entire
time.
bridge in a freaking minute or 3 or 4 minutes. You can blow up a bridge. It takes weeks, months, or years to build it back. And
Right on. Yep.
I've had a lot of people like, oh, that's such a stupid metaphor. I'm like, no, it's not. It's what we've
No.
done. And
Yeah.
it only takes one generation to destroy what dozens of generations built.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it just,
and right now we're in such a great time because it's an easy entry for indie creators to get themselves out there because of the shows like this and the internet and stuff like that. Like it's easier, much easier access. We both know Jason. He was doing the indie scene in the 90s, like well before all of this became much more accessible. So yeah, I mean, cheers to people that were back there. But now it's like, all you have to do is just start looking around and you can find plenty, find whatever you want. There's so many of us. You can find something that interests you,
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of it. And that's one of the things, like I said, that's what makes us uncancelable. That's what gets them worried, right? Why did Disney all of a sudden scramble to come up with a bunch of BS announcements about projects that won't be completed for 10 years out there at Walt Disney World? Yeah. Because Universal is launching Epic Verse and the Epic Universe, and they've got Nintendo Land coming, and they are about to eat Disney World's freaking lunch. Because guess what? Competition breeds excellence. You want the comic book industry to get better? Cool. Go support these indie guys. Go find your alternatives. Same thing with, alternative television, alternative, movies, all of that kind of stuff. There's a million people out there in the indie sphere that would kill for your dollar all day long and bend over backwards twice on Sundays for it. And you will never get that kind of consideration out of Hollywood ever.
It means more to us, like one customer means a lot more to us than it does to Disney. They don't care, clearly. Like they literally hire people who hate their fans. Like, what are you doing?
Literally.
Like, what?
Also, there was a mini version of this in the 90s when like Todd McFarlane went off and we had the first non-big two groups really getting out there, like IDW and then Dark Horse and Top Gun, all those. And suddenly you were getting different types of stories. You were getting more competitive ideas. And then in like 2010, 2012, suddenly it was like DC went for the New 52 and Marvel started, I think that was the Krakoa thing. And it was just like, it just went down and down and down. It was like, where's your competition? God damn it. Bring back our good shit.
I mean, so like I kind of got away from mainstream comics, I don't know, a while ago. Not for any particular reason, life happens and kind of stuff. But I started seeing things like Snowflake and Safe Space. I'm like, what just happened? Yeah. What is, like, the Marxists invaded clearly,
Well, and that's one of the other problems too. And I'm gonna say, I still promise, I still am gonna say hi to all of you folks out there in the chat. We will get to that in just a minute. But this is how the good shows start out. But it's one of those things. It's like, that was the problem, is there was too many people out there that played the get along to get along. We're just gonna be nice. Everybody can get along. Everybody's play. The problem was the other side was never playing by those same rules. It was never that to them. It was always, they're going to use your consideration. They're going to use the nerds' own, because we've always been welcoming. You know what I mean? And you find any nerd or geek on the planet, right? And you ask them about their favorite hobby, boy, you better pull up a chair and you better pack a lunch, because you're going to be there all day, okay? If you show a genuine interest in something they are fascinated, we're like the Borg. All we want to do is assimilate you, okay? We want you part of our collective. And the problem is they used that empathy, they used that kindness against us to go in there, take over our industries, and then shove us out. Because all they ever wanted to use it for was a vehicle for their fucking message. And that's what we ended up finding out the hard way. Yeah. The nice part is now eventually 2 + 2 does still equal 4. And eventually they run out of other people's money. And, and so now they're facing the consequences of that. And it's a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing to see, because as they fail, just like a phoenix from the ashes, dude, everybody else will rise. And you know what? It's decentralization. And I am all here for it. I am all here for it. Get these companies the hell out of Hollywood, fucking make it to where, Oklahoma's the new big place to make movies now, and Texas, because guess what? The people you hire around here don't think the way the people in LA do, man. It's just not the way it's gonna work.
Well, I mean, and ingrained in Marxist ideology is their quest for power overall. So it's like they have to, that's what they go for. That's why they're manipulative, you know. That's and they'll push their messages as wherever they can. So hey, that's fine. We see you now. That's fine. Now we can continue with other things, you know.
And the rest of the world's caught on too, and that's the beautiful thing. That's the beautiful thing. All right, let's speaking of beautiful things. Madhouse Retro has officially rated our stream over on Rumble. Thank you for that, my friend. Appreciate that, buddy. Good to see you, Madhouse. Did you see your new little mod power over there on Rumble? Do you see your nice little shield? Are you happy now? You and Jimbo both. Bat Sauce, beep beep. What's going on, Bat Sauce? Good to see you, buddy. Tim Hayes, our very first channel member ever. Good to see you, my friend. Glad you made it in tonight. Glad you made it in tonight. There we go. Madhouse over there on Twitch, because yes, boys and girls, as well as our own stream, our own channels of YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Kick, YouTube, and X. We're also on Twitter. Hi. We're also on both of Aaron's channels, his Twitter and his YouTube tonight as well. So I will be saying hi to all of you fabulous folks out there as well. And for whatever reason, you guys have not subscribed to both of our channels. If you're over on Rumble, the link is in the description down there. If my mods could grab that and drop that over on the YouTube side, I would appreciate that. Same thing on your guys' side. I am only like 2 subscribers away from 1,200, and the algorithm really hates me right now because I like to play copyrighted material when I shouldn't, because I'm a bad boy like that, because Rumble spoils us and makes it to where that doesn't hurt us. So please come give me a little jump over there. I'd really appreciate it. And hey, you can come jump the common nerd. But Mohammed said, what's going on, my friend? Hail all. Good to see you, Mohammed. Always good to see you, Bubby. Glad you made it in. And speaking of one of those folks over there on X, what's up, Ross Johnson? Good to see you, buddy. Animation Overload, one of our fine channel members over there on YouTube. Good to see you, buddy. Glad to see you as well. There's Kitty out there in the chat. Derek, the Dukester. Clay, what's going on? Howdy, man.
What's up, Derek?
Glad you made it in. And there's Chris Fisk. Dope avatar, man. I like that. Good to see you. Hey, everyone. Hey, Chris. Glad you made it.
Yeah, Chris is great.
Glad you made it. Awesome. I love it. I love seeing all the extra faces. I like this whole like being able to us all cross stream thing. It's kind of fun.
Oh, it's great. I encourage channels that I go on. I'm like, dude, you know, you gotta let everybody kind of share it out. That's way, you know, you can, you know, they can see and cross, and it works out for the best. So
it's great for expanding your audience.
Yes. And it's one of those things too, is like a lot of time everybody will kind of consolidate into one chat, and that's okay. It's like all you got to do is leave the tab open on somebody else. Everybody gets their watch hours, everybody gets the attention, and
if
it
they
works
like
out
to
great.
see, if they like what they see, they'll end up subbing anyways, and that and or coming back. So definitely.
Absolutely.
What's up,
And there you go. Alex VRB says, my goodness, look at all those nerds. I myself too cool. I don't know anything about Thaco or anything like that. I don't even know what Thaco is, but I'm down for it. Corey, that's okay. I am just your humble common nerd. That's why I surround myself with experts. Okay. Like I got an aliens and a Transformers expert. I got a hardcore old school comic book nerd. I got a manga and a Green Lantern expert down here. I got somebody who likes good at, whose husband is really good at jokes and comedy, and she's really good at helping publish all of that stuff. So we've got that there too. So yeah, we're an equal opportunist. Occasionally we even have have all kinds of other folks showing up too. So it's a lot of fun. But yes, Corey Barton, good to see you, buddy.
So I have to interrupt here. So Corey Barton is the artist of the beautiful blue girl that you have on your show. Yeah,
good job.
Oh, you mean?
Yeah, he's great.
You mean? Hold on, I gotta scroll. I got too much stuff back here. You mean this one?
Bang bang. Yes.
That is an excellent job. Yes, Corey, I saw that and I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna work out for the thumbnail. That's going to work out nicely for the thumbnail. So excellent work, sir. Excellent work, sir.
I was actually really appreciating the details in the design and the costume. There's a lot of different cultures that are very obvious and yet are still being put together quite seamlessly, that I thought was really interesting.
On. Yeah.
I like the big boobs.
I figured as much.
They're kind of overflowing.
That is the only thing, is that her I'm sorry, that would be very uncomfortable. Her bra cups are just a little too small.
It looks painful,
I see.
but it's kinky, so it's fine.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things, right? I mean, beauty for pain or pain for beauty. Isn't that how that goes, right? And that's with the high heels and all the rest of that. And like the reason why you guys like use margarine to like slip into some of those jeans and shit. I mean,
I have never used margarine to slip into a pair of pants, and I'm very comfortable in my heels. Thank you very much.
I like it. I like it. I love this. This is a good time. This is why we do this. Yes. Check out the hottest smoking, sizzling hot blue babe cover over here. There you go. And yes, if you're on Rumble, the link is down there in the description, and my mods will be grabbing that. Madhouse. Yep, look at that. Madhouse is already on it. Dropping the links for Immortal Rising over here on the YouTube and the Rumble on our side of the house as well. Thank you guys very much. Love our mods. Love our mods. Shadow Warden 99, another one of our fine channel subscribers over on Rumble. Put the grease between our gears, keeping this machine running. Thank you very much, Shadow Warden. Good to see you. Good to see you as well. I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody new in case, because we will highlight your comments as we're having a conversation as well. I just want to make sure I don't miss any of the new folks as well. DM Blackwell. Did I get DM earlier? I don't think so, but good to see you.
Hey, what's up, DM? Good to see you.
Go. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, really watching the stream on X? Who does that? Hey, man, it happens. I have people watching the stream on X sometimes.
Yeah.
Nicholas McCall. What's going on, Nick? Good to see you. Good to see you. There we go. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Good to see Nick.
Love it. Absolutely. All right, boys and girls. All right, there we go. And just as a friendly reminder, try to get some of the business out of the way. Like we talked about earlier, this is my full-time job. You guys are the grease between our gears, keeping this machine running. You guys are the reason I'm kept in this chair. So direct donations are a great way to help support the channel, but memberships, any kind of donations, just sharing the stream out. I know times are tight right now. We are living during Bidenomics after all. So sharing the stream out, leaving comments on the video, liking the videos, even if you don't watch them for very long, all of that stuff really helps out and feeds the algorithm. A great free ways to help support the channel. So I really do appreciate that. We also have a bunch of we have some affiliate links over there on the Rumble side, and the bots will be dropping those throughout the night too. We have a new affiliate link for some wonderful mushroom gummy supplements that are really absolutely amazing. We just got the affiliate for that today. Obviously, Coffee Brand Coffee. One of these days, I'll reach out to Meta PCs and get one for them too, because they got me I got a PC from them. But anyway, other than all that kind of stuff, there's a bunch of all that fun ways to help out support the channel with all those links and all that kind of fun stuff. So check all of that out. Appreciate all of you so much, and you get to keep the baby in diapers. This is what it goes to fun right here. Look at this. Look, I know. I'm sorry, I shouldn't meant to use you to shill. Look, here's a cute baby. But. What else we've got tonight? Michael, what's going on, buddy? Hump day. Okay, there you go.
Hump day.
But let's go ahead and get into this, because I know we don't have you all night long, unfortunately.
Ooh.
We'll have to find a time for that one. Well, this is how we roll around. I didn't get 6 kids. I didn't have a 6th kid on the way for not being able to play the game.
Yeah, you know your way around.
But here we are. So we've got Immortal Rising #2 Burnt Offering. So Aaron, tell us a little about yourself. Give us your background. How'd you end up getting into, I mean, not just how you got into comic books, but how'd you decide to go ahead and pull that string on that parachute and get into doing this yourself? What's your superhero origin story, my friend?
I am crazy and a little retarded. So basically it's all of this Immortal Rising, it all started from me taking notes about my Dungeons and Dragons table. I'm like, all right, we need to figure out, I don't want to forget, past events or whatever. I'm writing out the timeline, and as I'm writing out each event, that slowly, because I've dabbled in writing off and on throughout my life with different things, essays, short stories, poetry, that kind of stuff, songs even. And so anyway, as I'm writing it out, the event slowly turns into a scene, like people are talking, and I'm like, oh no, I'm going to have to write this, it's calling to be written. So I asked my table, I was like, all right, guys, I want to write a comic for us, was the idea. It was just for us. And I was like, where should I start? And they were unanimous. They were like, let's start at what we call The Calling. We refer to as The Calling. So that's what I did. I wrote it out as best I could into comic book form, which a lot of you writers may look down your nose at comic book scripting, but it is definitely its own art form. As somebody who's kind of, like I said, dabbled in different forms, the comic style itself is very interesting. It's very slim. You have to know what you're trying to go for. So anyways, I went through a first kind of original version that was just for me and my friends and family and stuff like that. But while I was doing that, I met my current artist, Jose Garcia, and his level, he's got like, I don't know, he's worked for every major animation house that you could probably name, and it shows, right? And compared to my other artist who was he's fresh, he's an amateur and all that stuff. So I was like, I could actually potentially step this up and take it to a wider audience. And that's what I did. I was like, let's do it. I put the reins on the horse and I jumped on. And I don't know, I don't know if you've ever like got into a creative kind of thing, but like once I started seeing, scenes and characters and all my ideas slowly start to manifest like that, I was hooked. I was addicted to it. I was like, let's get more of this awesome fantasy art, and a good opportunity to spread my story, share it with other people. And that's where the birth of Immortal Rising really came from. So I'm happy to bring it to all of you kind and good people.
Well, we are certainly glad you did that as well. Now, there we go. That's the button I was looking for. So, all right. So let's check out your trailer and then we'll get into it and dig right down deep into your comic and see what we've got here.
Right on.
I'll find you, Locutus, my creator. From your chaotic bones I shall make my order. Congratulations, recruits.
I'm so excited.
I don't want to babysit two spoiled princes.
I need to make a good impression for the soldiers. This is a silly waste of time.
What? Is that my long-lost magic ruby? Empress, find my ruby.
Your will is my command, my master. We're invading Terra to find Balmain's ruby.
Go forth, save the innocent, and punish the wicked.
Yes, Father. I have an easy life. But is that all there is?
The ruby could win this war once and for all. Let's kick the nest and see what falls out.
Locutus calls to his creations for help.
Where are we?
What are those things?
We have to get out of here.
Have the gods gone mad?
The Bomanites have invaded Terra. Has the last shard of Locutus' heart been found?
The war cannot continue without the heart. We can't risk losing it if it's there.
You've come to the wrong place. Terra is under my protection.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm recognizing voices in there. Was that Tom Connors? Who's in there?
That's actually done by Good Stuff Studios. I think that's the.
It was Good Stuff. It was Good Stuff's
yep.
voice. That's
him and his wife and family. Yeah, they started their own, like trailer, doing trailers and stuff like that. So thank you, Good Stuff.
Yeah, that was dope. Hell yeah, that was great. They did a great job on that. That is beautiful.
So, I mean, basically the story is, your classic 5 strangers thrust together by fate to, learn to survive as a war of the gods rages around them. So, they've got not only the monsters around them to fight off and defend against whatever, but also each other. Like they have to figure out how to work together as a team and come together past their differences. And there are quite a few differences. So a bit of an isekai story, or however you pronounce that, because
Isekai.
these elves are grabbed from their home planet and put on another planet, which is like, ruled by undead lords, kind of like a Castlevania style. So it's very dark, with zombies and stuff like that. But at the same time, the reason that they're transported mysteriously is because of this this empress and the evil empire is invading that planet. So not to get too involved in it right here, but as you kind of saw in the trailer, there's a bit of a backstory and a plot to all of that. So and not only is it think of like in an RPG, you got the first level kind of group. That is the main story. That's the 5 strangers. I also have a 10-page short story that follows along with what's called the Knights of Locutus, which would be like they're basically like they are god characters, and or like a Primarch. I heard them compared by some of the reviewers that it reminded them as like a Warhammer 40K Primarch. And yeah, and we follow them as they kind of figure out, why is the Empire invading this place? You know, what is going on? Why were all these beings basically teleported to this world? What, and the first 3 books is kind of uncovering all of that stuff. So and this is the second one, which, to let you know, because you brought it up earlier, the third one is in production right now. I have all of the sketches finished. I just need to get them from my artist, and thankfully he's super fast because he has a background in animation. So I mean, as soon as this one's done, I expect to jump right into number 3 and hopefully have the third campaign going next year, hopefully by the summer, if not sooner. So we'll see.
Hell yeah,
Those
that's open.
animators
I'm
know
glad.
how to grind.
It's true. And it's funny that you kind of brought up the Warhammer 40K Primarch thing, because that's exactly what I thought when I saw that guy kind of jump down in the trailer. And I was like, this world's protected. And I'm like, he looks like he's got power armor. I know what that looks like. Yeah, I love that too. I thought that
well, and so that idea is like they are gods, and we get to see them kind of interacting. So I really like that perspective of, the small guy and then the powers that be, at 2 different parts of the spectrum I find it compelling. So.
No, it is, because that's always one of the, I think that's one of the reasons why like the stories about like the great Greek mythological heroes do so well, is because you're literally taking on, you're taking on the forces of nature, essentially, the gods, or, whether it be, or, you can go Old Testament, you can talk about, the giants with David and Goliath and stuff like that. That's what you're taking on, is the forces of nature. And it's the human's desire to scream into the storm and actually be able to do something about it. And for anybody that's ever thought about that, or anybody that's like faced like adversity in the world and go, I really want to be able to do something about it, I think anyone can relate to that kind of story. And that's, it's the hero's journey, it's the hero's arc. And I love that. I love seeing that kind of stuff.
Well, and kind of the core of the story is like these they're consider them like young 20s, late teens kind of guys. And they have to, except for maybe the cleric Muhammad, he's a little bit older. But anyways, so like they have to kind of grow up pretty quickly to match their circumstances. Like I said, with monsters around them that they're not familiar with, just in a strange new world. Even they don't even speak the same language at first. So that all of those things have come together in this. And by the end of the arc, hopefully they are working well together and meet like their first challenge, their first real challenge. So. And until then, it's kind of a mess getting them all together, and 1, get over themselves, and 2, figure out how to work together. So, yeah, it's good. If you've ever been in that situation, you will see it immediately. You're like, oh shit, I've been there.
Hell yeah, I love that. So let's see what we got here. So all right, so give us.
I wanted to kind of talk about, if you scroll up just a little bit, I have different perks. I've got the main books. Yeah, there you go. So the main books are the premiums. You scroll up just a little bit farther. Those are the collected. Those are like 50 pages a piece. The story itself is like 44, but then I have additional arts like maps and stuff like that. And those, that's the collected parts of this. Is like you got the first act and the second act. And if you go down a little bit, and what I did was I want to be able to make it accessible to just general audiences at like, local game stores or comic book stores and stuff like that. So I came up with the floppies so that actually I'm selling them pretty much at cost. So they're basically $5 floppies, but I sell them as like the first act and the second act together. So you get you get the full on, but the pages are a little different. It's a little bit more floppy style, where it's like, previously on Immortal Rising, or next time on Immortal Rising, that kind of stuff. So which is cool. Whereas the premium is much more of like everything's collected already. You've already got it together. So yeah, and if I want to also to have these floppies to give anybody who's like man, I don't want to pay $20 for a book I've never heard of or never, whatever. So, all right, how about 10 plus shipping, and you get the same story. Just it's not going to be the 80-pound glossy, perfect bound version like the premiums are. So, yeah. And then the ash cans, the black and white was a short story that I put in, or that was featured in an anthology from Arrow Comics. That one's called The Tower Time Forgot. And that has nothing to do with Immortal Rising. It was just something that me and Jose did together, just kind of like as a side gig. And that is like a future dystopian kind of story where, this bio nanotech virus has taken over the world. And two of the last survivors of humanity try to track down the inventor of that virus and find a cure, because unfortunately the chick has picked up the virus and she doesn't have long. So yeah, which is, I mean, and art in that is amazing. So you see all that fantasy stuff in that, you get to see him really shake his sci-fi, his sci-fi ability, which is it's pretty damn cool, man. It's real cool. And then the other ash can is a one-shot side story. It's in universe, but not associated with the main story. It was just, and that was in Iron Age, the Anvil magazine #2. It was featured in that. It's called Baphomet's Child. And that's a story about a magical warrior who confronts a cult of Dracula, which is in Immortal Rising, Dracula was like the name for the king of the undead. So he confronts a cult of Dracula, and in that process, he's trying to save a girl. And it turns out he finds out that her soul has been taken by a demon in the spirit world. So he has to go to the spirit world and rescue her, hopefully. And it's not as easy as he might have thought. So, yeah, it's pretty fun. It's real. I mean, and the art is Jose Garcia is a very unique talent. As you go through kind of looking at the pages, you'll immediately see what I mean. He's got like, I've heard it described as like a, if it was Western anime, if that was a thing, that's exactly what he does, like Western anime manga. So it's great. Yeah, I love it. Of course, he does all the colors and everything. So that's
you can see a lot of those influences right there, because it's like if you took fantasy anime, or if you took like American fantasy and slapped it together with anime. It's kind of like the way it reminds me of a lot of the kind of art style and stuff like that. It feels very fantasy. But I don't know. It's because, I don't know.
Well, he also, he did, he was the artist for Clownfish TV's book.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we had started on this before he ever did that. Like me and him have actually been at this for a little while. As you can see, there's a few stories that we've done together. So, yeah, if your audience is familiar with like Friday Night Tights and stuff like that, and that kind of YouTube sphere, he's the artist for their book. I think it's like Crimson Rain. I think it was the name of it, Crimson Rain.
Crimson Rain.
Yeah, that's hella freaking cool. Yeah, no, Gary's the only reason I ever got into the pop culture sphere stuff. So yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Hey, what's up, Wrangler?
Good to see you, Wrangler. But yeah, that's freaking. I love that. I love how much I love the hulking aspect to some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But it just looks huge.
He goes big and very detailed, and I love it. And what's just funny, because like as the writer, I originally I'm putting in, okay, I want this angle and this detail and all this other stuff. And then after having worked with him on different stories and kind of rehashing my scripts and stuff like that, and figuring out how to work with him with all of his background in animation and stuff, I don't even think about telling him like angles and things like that. He already knows what he's doing. I give him like a panel, like here's 4 panels. This is what I basically want to have happen on the page. I give him dialogue, emotions of the characters on the page and everything else. And then I just let him be an artist and have fun with it. So, and he comes up with stuff like this, it's like,
yeah, I mean,
okay, great.
I'm looking at this and that's just epic. Cause like, when I can, because like I said, it's all fan funded. So when I can, I try to get as many as some of the indie guys as stuff as I can. And one of the things I've had, I think I've had a little bit of a complaint as of late. And maybe it's just because I'm also part of Clobby's Clubhouse over on 32 Flavors and Nick Weiser's channel, which I need to hook you up with him as well, Nick. And because because we go back and reread a lot of the old comics from there, you know, like a lot of the Golden Age and the Silver Age and like a lot of those good runs of that kind of stuff. We go back and relive all those glory days. And I spent more of my time at the library. I'm more of a fantasy guy. Like my first comic was like Ghost Rider, but the library was free. You know what I mean? Didn't have a lot of money as a kid. So, you know what I mean? So that was one of the things. The library was easier for me, but I love comics. And it's so much fun to be able to go back and go through and read some of those epic storylines that you always hear about, but I never got a chance to go back and read. But one of the things, and like I said, maybe it's because I've been reading so many of those lately, and been getting spoiled by the art. But a lot of the art I'm seeing nowadays, it feels like it's digital. You know what I mean? And I get that a lot of the guys are all using that stuff to draw and everything like that. But this doesn't look like that same way. Because a lot of some of the digital art you see out there looks flat. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of detail. There's not as much description to it as like some of the old hand-drawn stuff where you'd have those guys that would just go retarded on detail, you know what I mean? For no reason other than the fact that they're freaking OCD and ADD and every other freaking DDD that you can get that makes an incredible artist an incredible artist. You know what I mean? And it's like you don't see as much of that nowadays. And I don't know if it's because of the pace they're trying to get some of these books at. It's because of the fact that, you know, you're on a budget or maybe it's just the artists they're using. I don't know, but this doesn't scream that to me. Like my buddy Hojo, Mythicals, right? Mythicals art is gorgeous. His artist is great about that kind of stuff, putting the detail in it and doing a really good job.
And beautiful.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here, just very much in a different vein, but you're still getting that same kind of detail. You're getting that same kind of scale. This looks like there's depth to it. It looks like there's more going on in the background than just a building or a field or something like that. This looks like an intense war zone where shit has been going down. You know what I mean? And I love that. I love the detail and just the heart that goes into art like this. I just absolutely love it. So yeah, I know he's still out there in the chat, but shout out to you. That stuff. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah, that's all I got. That's my rant for that moment.
Nice
this
rant.
I
appreciate it.
This is where you guys are all supposed to jump in and do something else.
Well, so like you know, when I'm going through and doing like some Photoshop touch-ups of this stuff, it's to kind of talk to your point, you know, going on there, like blowing it up and getting close to everything. It's like the lines that he used, it looks like it's actual, like the lines are broken up. They're not real clean lines. So it gives it like a hand-drawn look. It really does. It also makes it difficult to Photoshop with, but whatever. We'll talk about that later, Jose.
But and that's true. And as a guy that uses like some of the AI machines, like the reason why I was able to get your beautiful blue lady and such a wonderful thing, I had to do a little touch up, but the AI did most of it. You know what I mean? And it pulled all that out perfectly. But stuff like this, like it would have a nightmare with this because you've got all the cross color palettes, you've got the lines going across, you've got all of the detail. And honestly, I mean, when it comes to like people just being able to rip your stuff off, it's actually probably a good thing.
You're probably right.
Yeah. But no, I love it. So what are some of your bundles that you've got going on here? You've got, you know, so you've got just the individual, you got number 2 floppy, number 1 floppy. What kind of stuff, what are you going with here on some of these things?
Okay. So I made it real basic. I've just got different combinations of the books themselves. I don't have a whole lot of add-ons. Right now I am offering the early bird card. So you get that blue lady as a trading card. If you get in now, before that ends, which I believe I'm going to let it extend, probably at least to the end of the week, but I really don't want it to go very far. So, I really want all the early bird people to have something special. So, a little incentive, as they say. But yeah, so the least expensive perk is the 2 floppies of the first story, the calling part 1 and part 2. And then I've also got after that is calling part 1 and part 2 as a floppy as well. And that's like $10, right? $10, you get 2 comics. They're roughly 24 pages. And Yeah, except for, it's saddle stitched. It's not the premium version. So then on top of those, or in addition to those, I've got the premium versions, which is perfect bound, 80 gloss pages. It's gorgeous. Actually, here's a version of it, number 1 from my first campaign. So I don't have this cover offered in this version. So, but yeah, and you can kind of hear some of that thick paper. And it looks gorgeous, glossy and everything. That'll be you get the Corey Barton cover for issue 1 if you would like. Then if you want that solo, and then also if you say you don't really care for some reason, don't want the Corey Barton cover, I have issue 2 that is actually Jimmy Reyes. He's worked for Marvel and all that stuff, so he is the one that did the Big Bad Ogre. And then I have the next perk is if you want them both, I offer them together. I offer all the floppies together, that kind of stuff. So, but the Big Bad Daddy is it's the last one. That's the Everything Immortal box. That gets you the 2 premiums with the Corey Barton and Jimmy Reyes covers. Gives you the 4 floppies, which the covers are done by Jose Garcia. And also, in addition to that, you get the ash cans as well as a shirt. So I have 2 shirts to pick from. I have the Corey Barton cover as a shirt, and also one of the God characters, Listo. I have one of my favorite poses of him in all the books. I have that on a shirt as well. And it's not just mine. I've heard people be like, "Oh, I love this" or whatever. So I grabbed that out of one of the panels and threw that on a shirt as well. So this here is a add-on. So I told you earlier I did the comic originally. It's like an amateur team, that kind of stuff, just to kind of do it for me and my friends. I printed out 100 of them. It's saddle stitched, 50 pages, and that one I only have 100. Actually, now I think I have maybe 80 left. So if and that's for like the full collector or someone who wants to give more than say, oh, I've got the everything box, and then on top of that, but I still want to contribute to the campaign. I give the opportunity to get the original Immortal, which is also $100, so that you can throw some money at me if you got some. It's always appreciated. And it's also, I will never be printing that version of it again. So it will in fact be a collectible. So I did this awesome side by side. I've got the inside version of the exact same story with Jose did, and then the original artist, his name is Kofarosa, who's an Indonesian, and which unfortunately I lost track of him. We had problems communicating because the Indonesian government kept shutting off the internet due to political unrest. So it made things very interesting to keep in touch with him. But his art is also, one of the reasons I went with him is because it has like that, like it's like a watercolor kind of look to it, which is really pretty. And I was like, I want that. So, but of course, once I had Jose, I was like, you're all mine. And I had him go back and redo it all. So, and I think we lost the common nerd.
Oh,
that's all right.
The baby.
Yeah, he's giving kisses and hugs, I'm sure.
Something like that. Yeah, give me a minute.
Sure. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so you can see the side by sides. People really enjoy they really enjoy seeing that, to kind of like see not only like the difference in the skill level, but also just comparing the art styles. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Like I want to say,
where did you find your artist? Did you just put out a call for it, or did you have friends?
So with Jose, it was kind of a start. Sorry to talk over you. With Jose, it was kind of a stars align moment. I like to think of it now, is because he was deep in his animation career. He wanted to get away from that. He was doing commissions, and I can't remember exactly where I found him. If it was like in a Facebook group of comic artists or on ArtStation or something, but I saw him, one of his commission pieces. It was a fantasy looking one, and I was like, oh wow, that's great. And originally I hired him to do the side story, because I was waiting on the first artist to finish the book. I hadn't heard from him, and like that creative thing, that fire was like, I have to, I have to keep the momentum going, or it's gonna stall, and I'm gonna feel like an ass, And so I saw that. I was like, dude, will you do this God story for me? It was right up his alley. It was way right up his alley with all the. He came back with me with all the detail and all that stuff that you saw. And it's funny because it's also kind of one of his favorite parts to draw, is because of all the over the top, grandiose kind of thing. But we hooked up, and he was like, dude, you found me right when I want to get into doing comics and doing his own comic and stuff like that. And so he was like, I like the story, I like the idea. Yeah, I'm on board. So that's exactly what we're gonna do, and hopefully he'll stay with me as long as we are successful. So
now, did your first artist finish the book, or did you have to start?
He did, except for the cover. He did everything except for the cover, and so and I lost track of him. So I had a friend of mine who does murals. He actually did my backdrop. Oh, cool. I was like, hey, would you do a cover for me? Because he was like, the only artist that I knew that could, that could do something like that. And so that's why the cover of the original Immortal looks basically like a mural of all the characters, is because he's a mural artist. He's done work for museums throughout the Midwest, as well as like townships and stuff. He'll put murals on like sides of buildings and stuff. So I don't know, everything kind of fell into place. So I'm running with it, damn it.
Yeah.
Let's see how far this goes.
You said the story came from your Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. And
yes.
So from the time when you went to your group and said, hey, I want to turn this into story such and such, to when you started laying art down and paying people for art, how long of a process was that?
Oh man. So I wrote the story. Kind of, it went through its different variations. That took a bit of time. I don't know, probably a few months or something like that, to like a half a year or something. And then I contacted a design artist, a character design artist, and I was working with him for, I don't know, a few more months on top of that, kind of figuring out, I had no idea how to crowdfund or to do anything in that vein at all. I was like, hey, will you just do some character sketches or whatever, and then I'll try to crowdfund with that. Terrible idea, but that's all right. I never pulled the trigger on that. I was like, no, I'm going to have it finished and then try to crowdfund, so I know numbers and how many to print out and stuff. And so I guess then finding an artist that I liked and having him go through it, that was probably, just from like conception to first version, was probably 2 years. Just because trying to between having this on the side with my main, family and job and all that stuff, and not being able to communicate easily with the artist, it took a while. It was a good 2 years. And then I started my own channel, because I was like, I need to figure out how to network and market all this stuff, because I didn't know any of that either. I work as a technician, in an aerospace factory, so it was totally different field of work, so I was like, let me get in, let me do my own channel. I'll start interviewing all these guys, asking questions, taking notes, and figuring out how to do this. A good year went by of doing that. And then I finally had Jose, do his version of the first book, and then so I launched that about a year and a half ago, and everything went off great. We did really well. I kept doing my channel, interviewing more people. Actually, Jose had done issue 2 as well, and his skill had increased, in that time. So I was like, hey, will you go back and make some adjustments to the older work and stuff like that? And then so he went back and recolored it all, and I learned Photoshop as best, rudimentary, so that I could do my own graphics and stuff like that, and change dialogue in the book and whatnot. And then here we are launching issue 2. I've already got issue 3 written, like I was saying earlier, sketches done. I just need to get it from him, and then we'll go on to colors and whatnot. So yeah, we're moving along finally. It's built up, and so I guess totally, I want to say the first version, first story and all that stuff was written in 2018. And so like 6 years, and we're finally, I feel like I have enough momentum and knowledge that I can start doing these faster and everything like that. So, and fulfillment, in case anybody is worried about that, is not a problem. I use Critical Blast. He is one of the best, out there right now. So, and growing. If you haven't heard of him yet, you probably will the longer you're in the indie scene. So, yeah, everything is reliable. Everything is on top. The story is done. The books are done. It's just a matter of knowing how many to print out.
I have a random question.
Yeah.
Did Wizards of the Coast come after you at all when you're talking about the fact that all of this came from your D&D stuff?
No.
Okay. Because I remember with D&D 1.0 or whatever they were doing, they were trying to say anyone who creates any IP from Dungeons and Dragons owes us. And I couldn't figure out how they were going to implement that and enforce it.
Yeah.
And B, I was just wondering if anyone actually got hassled by them.
Well, I mean, so like with this, I'm not actually associated with them. I don't claim any of their names or anything like that.
I know.
So
that was the whole thing.
No,
It was supposedly if you said you were based on D&D,
they
were coming for you to get a piece.
Yeah.
There was a big stink with the D&D 1 stuff that went down, and they got so much backlash. That shit got rescinded faster than fucking most of us change our underwear because of all the massive amount of backlash. That was they were trying, and that would have never held up in court either. No, it wouldn't have, because you can't just because somebody uses your. I mean, that's the problem is with everything in D&D, it's so fucking generic that as long as you're not using the names of characters that are in their published work, they can't claim shit. All that was them was just trying. That was like them Disney threatening. Go, well, that 30-day free trial subscription that terms and services is legally binding. You can't sue us for your wife's death. Fuck off. They retracted that shit because they didn't want it to get to court, because then it would have set a precedent that they would never been able to threaten anybody with that again.
Slimy.
That's the same kind of bullshit.
Which one of their lawyers was so high they said that that's a good idea, go ahead with that?
The same one Disney pays millions of dollars for every year that was going to try to use the freaking terms and service agreement for a 30-day free trial to Disney Plus. It's the exact same. Because the thing about it is that this is why they do it, right? Lawyers will pull stuff like that because even though they know it won't hold in court, because it'll scare you. Because you don't have a lawyer who's got a sack or $1 billion behind you, and they'll try to bury you in paperwork, and that's what it'll be. But this guy had, it's literal lawfare. Yeah, is what they do. They will try to bury you in paperwork so that they never have to get to court to have a ruling on something like that, because a lawyer knows it won't hold up in court. So
yeah. Well, and they also have their coffers, right? Their law coffers. And they know they can beat basically anybody. They can
sue you into oblivion.
Yeah. How can you compare, So anyways, I do have to get going. I really appreciate the time on here.
Yeah, absolutely, brother.
This has been fun. It went fast. Holy cow.
Right.
We're just having
the
fun.
Art looks great.
Yes, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to check this out. This is absolutely glorious.
It's a unique setting. It's I like to say it's a comparison of if Castlevania had a baby with Final Fantasy. This is basically what would come out the other side. So if you like epic high fantasy and some nice dark fantasy involved, you're gonna enjoy this. Obviously the art is gorgeous, so please go out, help an indie creator, and buy the book. I don't think that you'll regret it.
No, I don't think so either. That's gorgeous, Aaron. I appreciate you being here, buddy. We're gonna have you back sometime soon, because I think we could have some fun conversations, because I'm an aircraft mechanic by trade, so it'd be fun to have a conversation with you about that sometime. So hell yeah, thanks for being here, man. Go check out Immortal Rising on Indiegogo, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you,
Thanks for coming out.
Appreciate you being here.
Have a good night, Aaron.
Y'all have a good night. Have a good night, my friend. There we go. So I thought that was dope. I thought that was cool. And if anybody that's over there on Aaron's channels, you guys want to come hang out, we'll be going for our show goes until 9:00 Central Standard Time, give or take. We've got memes. We've got a bunch of other really cool content and comics to talk about. So you guys definitely hopefully come over and check us out, because that'd be nice to get a few more subscribers out of that. Yeah. Woohoo! We're officially at 1,200. Well, we got 2 of y'all at least. That works.
Woohoo!
Oh yeah, because we've been fighting the algorithm a lot lately. But yeah, hell yeah, I love that. I love this idea. And it was funny because he mentioned like the Warhammer 40K. Because I was gonna say this before he got out of here, but like this picture right here, where's this one down here that we were looking at just a minute ago? Because this literally looks like the God Emperor in the face. Like, where is it? Right, like this guy right here. Like that's exactly what that looks like. And this one right here, like this gives me nothing but God Emperor vibes. Like this is like a Mechanicus, and then you've got like the Space Marines, except these are like literal knights. You know what I mean? And then like I love like all the decoration around the guy's headgear and everything else. I'm like, he looks so royal. He looks like an emperor. I love that. I love it. So yeah, freaking cool shit. Freaking cool stuff. Freaking cool stuff.
Do we have the link for Aaron's channel? Yeah.
Chris Fisk. It's for us, it's the Common Nerds. I can find out. He should have it. Let me find Aaron's stuff over there. I'll drop it in our link. But yeah, it's the Common Nerds with an S. So yeah, I was hoping we would all grab to that. I should have see if I can say hi in your chat, because if you're a mod over on his chat, then you can click on my name and find the channel and drop it that way, Chris, if you can do that. But yeah, check that out. Fun stuff. But yeah, I love this. I thought that was really, really, really dope. I absolutely love that. I thought that was really cool. I wonder if we're just going to keep streaming to his channel. So I have no idea if he just left hi over there if you guys are hanging out. That's
but didn't he say
hilarious.
He was going on? He had to get on another stream, so maybe his channel will cut off and go to that one.
Maybe it will. It might. It might. I don't know. YouTube is hiding your channel and keeps only showing your gaming channel. All right, let me see what I can pull off on that one, Chris. Hold on, just 1 second, because I can view on YouTube. Check this out. I know why it's doing the gaming channel one, but that's okay. We're going to fix that as soon as his. Hey, look at that. Hey, there we go. I'm just waiting for his chat to pop up. But yeah, we're still streaming to his channel. I can see it over on his channel. Hi, guys. I'm just waiting for the chat to pop up, because that's always the last thing to pop up. There we go. Hey, there we go. How about that one?
And always remember to check that you are subscribed to the people you want to be subscribed to, since YouTube likes to unsubscribe you from people that you very obviously want to be subscribed to.
I'm pretty sure that happened today to me, because we had one of our guys subscribe and put us at $11.99, and then later afternoon I checked and it was back down to $11.98, and I'm like, I literally watched that happen. What did you do? I literally watched that happen. But yeah, there we go. We're on the right one.
I've been unsubscribed from China Uncensored 3 different times. I've been unsubscribed from Colin Noir. They unsubscribed me from Gary. I mean, it's just like,
wow.
I watch. You're unsubscribing from people I watch regularly all the time. It makes no sense that you would think that I would not want to be a part. Like, it's just obnoxious.
It is. It's absolutely insane. And here, hold on. Let me drop. Where'd that go? Where's that? Here we go. Is that the right one? No, that's not the right one. Hold on. There we go. Copy. Here is his channel. Bam. There we go. There's Immortal Rising comic book. There's his channel right there. So, hey, yeah, somebody go subscribe. He's at 349 subscribers. Let's get him to 350. Thank you, Chris Fisk. There you go. But yeah, there's I just dropped that in the YouTube and in the Rumble. Go check that out. Let's get him up over 350. Let's get him up over 350, boys and girls. There it is right there. I'm literally running a show, Venus. I'm literally at a guest. I was just promoted to comic. I have had a Wednesday night stream since before you were subscribed to my channel. Don't you start with me, Venus. Don't you start with me. This motherfucker, I'm in the middle of a stream.
What do you expect?
Right? I get a freaking message. I get a message on Steam. Come play Doom. I'm literally live right now. Like, what are you doing, Venus? He's like, oh. I love you, Venus. I love you. Tree Fitty, are you trying to summon the Loch Ness monsters? We love Loch Ness. What's wrong with Nessie? I love me and Nessie. What's wrong with Nessie? Oh, there you go. Hell yeah. Now we've got him over 350. Look, there's animation overload over there. Hell yeah. There you go, buddy. Look at that. Now we got him. Penis. Could be at a penis head. A penis head. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. There you go. Now we're having fun over there. Oh, fucking Venus. You guys are great. I love that shit. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Glad we'll have to have Aaron back. Sorry he had to run so early. That's no fun at all. But, yeah, because we'll have to have him back for like just a regular show where we can do like we do with Jason, just promote his comic every once in a while and actually keep him around for a little while because we were having some great conversations about like the Acolyte in the background and stuff like that. And I was like, I wanted you here for that. And then now you're gone. And it's like, oh, it makes me sad. Because it sounds like he had some fun comments on that. And we started talking about Marxism and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, you're in the right place. I wish Diesel was here for this conversation because you and him would have a grand old conversation about that. Diesel loves getting off into all of this stuff. So, yeah.
Well, every time someone says the phrase Marxism, literally the only thing I can remember is all of the horrible things he did that go against everything he's claimed to be for. Marx supposedly said that inheritance is evil and then tried to put his mother away so that he could get his inheritance early.
Dude, Marx literally wrote things dedicated to Satan, to Lucifer himself. Like, that guy was nothing more than the embodiment of evil. Like, I'm 99% sure one of the Fatima prophecies, one of the ones that we don't know about. Well, we know it was specifically referencing the evil out of Russia. That prophecy was specifically referencing Marxism and all of the evils that came with it. I have a book on my bookshelf in my living room that is the giant black book of communism. It's literally the best guess estimate that we have on the hundreds of millions of people that communism has killed in the last 120, 130 years. Yep. So it's like, yeah, like everything. I mean, and guess what? It's the same hypocrisy with him back then calling, like you said, calling about the inheritance tax. Same thing with them now. It's to say good for thee, but not for me. Ain't nothing new under the sun. There ain't shit new since babies were being thrown into the freaking fire as a ball. All they do is slap a new paint a coat on it and call it something different. It's all the same evil shit that we've always seen. Yeah, well, I mean, if you think of how the DNC was going, and isn't their platform joy? But it's just a bunch of rage and hate, and it's fun to see. It's kind of fun to watch communism unfold right in front of our faces. I choose to think it's fun, at least. Well, and what's really funny too is I only because there was so much to talk about today on my live stream. Like, I had videos scheduled until 4:00, and I'm thank God that I did, because there was so much to talk about today. I probably cut 6 videos today on the daytime stream, and I barely got to touch on the fact that last night Nancy Pelosi was appearing on the Stephen Colbert show at the same time that the DNC was going on. The protesters that went to the DNC got into the Stephen Colbert show and were shouting at her from the audience. It literally was woke on woke crime, dude. It was the most beautiful and glorious thing I had ever seen. They were like barging into the studios. They were all of that exact same kind of stuff that they'd done at every major shopping complex, at every riot that we saw during 2020. It was just, I'm like, all those useful idiots that you brainwashed and convinced that you were on their side, now they figured you out. You didn't give them any of the free shit you said you were going to. You didn't get rid of any of their college student loans that you said you were going to. And guess what? They did get rid of some. Well, yeah, but it was like a fraction, and it was only like a little bit of what they could. It was nothing like what they said they were going to do. No, absolutely. And they gave it to people who didn't fucking need it. Nobody fucking needed it. If you took out a college loan, I'm sorry. Fuck you. You were dumb enough not to understand what basic economics were, and you got a degree in underwater basket weaving. Not my fucking problem. It's not my tax dollars or my great grandchildren's tax dollars that should be covering for your fucking mistake because you were young and dumb. No, young and dumb, yes, but mostly brainwashed. I'm sorry. From the time time we were born in the 80s, or later for some of you,
they've been pushing that the only way to be successful, the government pushed it, Hollywood pushed it, Disney pushed it. The only way to be successful, the correct way to live your life is to go to college.
Right.
And that was
Well,
bullshit. but I have
and that
trouble.
you'll be able to pay your loan back because you're going to get like that.
Yeah. Well, but that's what happens when the government gets involved with anything, right?
Yep.
It used to be back in the 50s and 60s, the only people that went to college were people like engineers, doctors, biologists, people that actually need a fucking degree. And then it became the mentality of you won't be anything. You won't amount to shit if you don't go to college. And that was the biggest fucking lie they ever sold outside of don't discuss politics and religion and polite company. All of that shit is just, it was all a big fucking bill of sales. And I'm sorry, guess what? I didn't buy into it. I joined the military, had the military pay for my college. And guess what? Eat my ass. Not my fucking problem. I earned my keep. Go fucking earn yours.
Like I said, I agree with you. I agree with you, young and dumb. And I agree that we should absolutely not be paying off their loans. I didn't want to go to college. I didn't actually care about college. But I was informed by my family that I was going to be an officer. I was not allowed to join the military, so I had to go to college. But I mean, I saw all these kids who literally, they had no idea what they wanted to do with their life. They were not given any direction by their schools or their or even their families to some degree. And they all believed they had to get into college or their lives were over. And it was like, I mean, I tried talking to people about it, but I did not grow up in a community or environment who appreciated my opinions.
I mean, it's one of them situations where guess what? Whole countries have been convinced of lies and they had to suffer the consequences for it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna feel pity for you because your parents or your grandparents or whoever the hell it was bought off on the same lie as all of the rest of the people and brainwashed you or convinced you or strung arm you into it or any of the rest of that nonsense. It's not my fault. And I'm not going to saddle the next few generations with your debt because you bought into a lie. You know what? You want to get mad at somebody? Get mad at the system that lied to you.
Yep.
Don't go back. Don't go back to Big Daddy government who caused the problem and then ask them to solve it. Get mad at Big Daddy government that fostered all of these programs and made it to where, colleges, $140,000 a year for a fucking community college. I'm being obviously over drastic here. With
hyperbolic.
Hyperbolic. But literally the only reason it became so expensive, look at the price of college before the government backed all of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mae, all the college student loans, and look at it before. Look at the price of college before the Pell Grant and after the Pell Grant. Yep. Look at all of that shit. When the government starts saying that they will use your money, they will steal money out of your pocket to pay for something else, they're going to automatically increase the prices of it. Why do you think our aircraft cost fucking $22 million a piece? Because the government has contracts and buddies with all of these big corporations out there. That's the biggest problem with big government is they want to blame big corporations. It's not big corporations. It's big government that enabled those corporations to get that big because guess what? The tax code favors some people and not others. And guess what? So do those regulations that your favorite Democratic congressman wrote.
Yeah, it's the regulations. It's the ones that say that you can't have. My brain just blanked. No. I keep seeing it in my head and then losing it.
There's a bunch of stupid regulations out there.
No. The big one, the one that I was trying to think of was the fact that you have to take lowest bid, and everybody knows that. But because so many of the military industrial complex knows the rules, they'll put in a low bid that seems reasonable, knowing that it's going to explode twice, 3 times that when you actually get going, and they never get sanctioned for it, so they're able to play this game over and over and over again, which is insane. I'm sorry, I said when the F-22 couldn't get the oxygen tanks right after how many fucking flights, what the fuck? Why are they not being sanctioned? Why are they not getting punished for giving us faulty fucking shit that puts our men and women in danger?
Because retired
stock at that point.
because retired military generals and colonels go to work for Boeing, just like former CIA operatives went to work at Twitter and Facebook and everything else. It's the incestuous cross-pollination of both of those groups. It's literally a revolving door. That's why it's the same problem with the politicians. People talk about term limits, and term limits are a great idea and they should be implemented, but it's not just it's not just
that weren't even elected, so they have no terms to limit.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly. That's what it is. It's the handlers, it's the bureaucrats, it's the administrative state. People want to talk about a deep state. It's not some fucking cabal in a corner making all these decisions to pull all these levers. What it is a massive administrative state that is concerned about one thing and one thing only: protecting its power and its position in the world. And anything that threatens that, it doesn't matter if it's a sitting president or Joe Schmo or let's play Jane Schmo screaming at their local education board, because their local school board, because they're screwing things up. Well, now all of a sudden you're a threat to our power and our democracy. Our democracy, not the republic. You're a threat to our democracy, because that's what it is to them. And so now you're on a terrorist watch list because you decided to say something bad at your school board meeting. So
they put Tulsi Gabbard on a watch list.
Yeah. Oh, this went off into a rant this went off in a completely different direction that I didn't intend, but holy shit. Oh yeah. What a mess. What a mess. What a mess. But on a positive note, boys and girls, we are winning. We are winning because, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, if you hadn't heard, the pendulum is swinging back. The world is healing. I don't think Christ is coming back anytime soon, but angry fans react to the Acolyte being canceled.
All 12 of them?
Exactly. All of those woke weirdos on the internet who screamed and howled from the top of rooftops forever, as loud as they could, to get these companies to bend their knee. Guess what? At the end of the day, God's still in charge, and 2 + 2 still equals 4, because they are officially starting to run out of other people's money. Because even with Kathleen Kennedy in charge of Star Wars, somebody at Burbank went, fuck this shit. This dog don't hunt. And they are flipping out. This is just shocking and devastating Star Wars news today. The Acolyte has been canceled after 1 season. So many plot threads left unanswered. Darth Plagueis, the tie between Vanessa Aurora and Kumar. Osha's turn to the dark side. So many more stories to tell.
No. They never should have touched Plagueis. They never should. And they didn't really have anything for him to do. This was literally just, I'm going to play with all the big toys. I'm going to put my fingerprints on all the Lucas crap because I can. I'm going to touch things that no one else would even ever think to touch because I can.
Well, and it goes even worse than that, right? Because we have this lore, we have this story from George Lucas's prequel trilogy, whatever you want to say about that. Nonetheless, Darth Plagueis the Wise, that story came from those movies, right? Now you are taking Darth Plagueis and saying Plagueis, and saying he did not come up with this idea. He did not discover this through his own research. The only reason he even knows the Force can create life is because of a coven of lesbian fucking witches. So now they've taken that strong male evil character and now made it to where the only reason he even had this idea is because a bunch of lesbian witches did it first.
So like in real life.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just like in real life. Just like in real life. So
it's an insanely obnoxious storyline. But even so, it could technically have been done in a way that stayed semi close to the lore at the very least, and didn't sound like it was written by a bunch of 13-year-olds high on Adderall.
Well, and you know what the worst part about this? One of the things that I thought, trust me, there's a lot of things that are really bad about this. It's probably taking number. But one of the funny things that I was thinking about this was we even have Kathleen Kennedy coming in and going, the first script she brought me, it was this great Star Wars story. And I looked at her and I said, this is a great Star Wars story, but now go back and make it a Leslie Headland story. So more lesbians, more witches, more destruction of the patriarchy inside of Star Wars. I'm not sure how much more
ethics, less morals. No idea who the good guys actually are because you don't believe in good and evil.
Yeah, I was really, really, really confused because this is the horrible part. Think about this. What Leslie Headland wrote on her own was probably more Star Wars than what she did after Kathleen Kennedy told her that. We might have actually gotten a better show if KK might not have ever interfered. I don't know. But I just thought that was kind of funny. But here's some of the meltdowns. The worst part about the Acolyte being canceled isn't the cancellation itself, but knowing exactly which part of the Star Wars fan base Disney listened to in order to go ahead with this decision. Stop caving to pressure and stand your ground if you've made something bold for once.
No, I'm sorry, they're wrong. Disney absolutely was listening to their side of the fandom. They were listening to the fact that their side of the fandom is either so small or so stupid they didn't show up to watch the damn show they're so obsessed with because there were no ratings. There was no viewership. It had no viewership. So if you loved it so much, either you were one of a very, very small minority or you and your friends pirated the whole thing. So either way, you weren't giving anything back to freaking Disney. You weren't doing anything that makes sense to actually getting something you love to have a second season or a sequel or any of that shit. These people are insane. They don't understand how business works. They don't understand how life works. I cannot believe these people can chew gum and walk at the same time. They're so stupid. There's had nothing to do with us who didn't like it. And that includes all of the many, many, many female fans who didn't like it. Straight females, gay females, trans females. I can find them all who didn't like it. All right? So this is not about giving into the chuds and the evil mean man. This is, you didn't watch it. It didn't work. It sucked. Shut the fuck up. Or yell at them for giving you something so crappy that you don't get a second season.
Well, and no. You're spot on. There's nothing wrong whatsoever with what you're saying. And that's the thing about this too, right? Is you're spot on. They didn't show up to watch this, right? They have always claimed that there's some big part of the fandom. This is a prime example right here. I'm really tired of sharing the franchise I love with toxic, misogynistic, immature racists and constantly seeing to be catered to. Even though the rest of us have been here all along, wanting new and fresh stories that connect deeply with all of us.
That bitch ain't been here all along for nothing. There's no way she was standing in line waiting to see Star Wars in the movie theater when it was coming out. Whether we're talking the original or for more likely because of her picture, the prequel trilogy. I don't know. How young is he? Did she even know the prequel trilogy exists? That's the other thing. Half these people out there are 12. They have no experience. They've got no idea what they're talking about.
Her Ella. She's from Chicago. I don't know why she's got a Mexican flag. As a Mexican, I don't know what the fuck MTY stands for. Oh, color us shocked there. Obsessed with language, pedagogy. I don't even know what that means. Star Wars and dignity for all. Proud mom. I feel bad for your children. Devoted wife. I feel bad for your husband. Romantica incurable. I fucking doubt that. I fucking doubt
Jesse,
that.
She has unending romance needs, and that's why she had to see the Sith dude naked in the in the pond.
God damn, that bitch is ugly. Sorry. Oh fuck! Look at that fucking mouth. Holy fucking God in hell. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Her daughter's actually cute. Her daughter's very pretty.
Oh,
genes must have come from the husband.
100%. I can't help but he's so devastated. I can't help but feel he's so devastated. I guess they meant feel so devastated for Amandla. She just loves Star Wars and her enthusiasm was so enduring to see, and they deserved so much better. No, the fans deserve so much better. We deserve to not get someone who told us that all Star Wars nerds, all nerds were gay. and that all the nerds were gay in her world, and that this was the gayest Star Wars ever. That's the marketing we got out of this show. And I just want to point out to everybody, this is the lowest Star Wars, not Disney Star Wars, Star Wars property of all time for an audience score. This is literally worse than the holiday special.
I was about to say, is it actually worse than the holiday special? Yes.
It's worse than the holiday special.
Yes.
Because at one point, this was like 12%.
Funny at points. You can laugh at the holiday special. This didn't have much to laugh at, though. That wannabe erotica scene did make me giggle. Because they can't even do that right. They can't even do that well. It's like,
and that's the worst part. It's like, this was nothing more than this was bad Tumblr fan fiction. There was a
time when LGBTQ wasn't everywhere and shoved down our throats everywhere, when you got to see a lot of really creative gay artists in multiple different genres, including making movies. But now that everyone and their brother seems to be gay, there doesn't seem to be any creativity left among them. I don't understand it. They cannot write. They cannot direct. They cannot act. I don't get it.
And that's the problem is these people don't know how to see past themselves, right? And that's the thing is it's all them, and it's like what did you expect? You know, and
not everyone can be Ryan Reynolds and play themselves in every role.
Right.
The rest of the world has to find a way to become other characters or get an 8-pack, one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. One of the two. And it's one of those things where it's like, and there's another example in this one over here, right here, right? And it's just another one. The Acolyte being canceled is just another example of toxic internet hate. The show never got a chance to breathe, and half the people hating on it never even watched an episode. It's not my favorite piece of Star Wars content, but it certainly didn't deserve to be axed. Well, tell that to all the people that didn't watch the show. Because
she used that image to go with that post?
Yes, Smilo Ren.
Right. Okay. I have so much respect for her if that's the image she chose.
Well, this one's a dude. This one's a beta male. This is Alec. This one's.
But don't you know there's no difference between male and female? I can call him or her.
Oh well, yeah, that's a good point. Well, what if you misgendered him? What if you misgendered him? And this one's my favorite is that they blamed Star Wars. I can agree with the majority of this person's statement here, right? Mm-hmm. Fuck Disney, fuck Lucasfilm, fuck Dave Filoni. I'm all on board with all of that. Yep. Fuck Jon Favreau, not so much. Fuck Kathleen Kennedy, fuck Star Wars. Okay, fuck Kathleen Kennedy. Okay, I'm with you on that one. Fuck Star Wars Theory, fuck incels, fuck Grogu. I'm with that one too. Fuck all of you. How rude. Personally, I don't know who you are. Probably don't want no piece of that. I'd probably catch something. But at the same time, it's like this I can agree with. This I can appreciate. Yes, now you are mostly lashing out at all the right people. Because Kathleen Kennedy is the one that's responsible for this. She's the one that made a show that didn't appeal to, honestly, anybody. I mean...
except for these 12 people.
Yeah.
I will continuously stand by the fact that these 12 people exist.
The 18%. The 18% here. And it's like, and then, you know, it's like you couldn't get 30. You couldn't get 30 top critics to review this show together and give it more than a 72%. You literally only have 29 top critics, people from like legitimate outlets. And even then, the all critics is still, it's what, 110, 115 people?
115.
Like, that's the bet. You couldn't even get your own shills to get this above a 78%. This is access media. The people that beg Disney for access and only say nice things about them. And you couldn't get above a 78%, let alone the audience score. You know,
that was part of, to some degree, the issue. Like, the big warnings were when the people who got the early episodes were waiting for their chance to do the reviews, and then they were like, the really, really big media was just not really talking about it almost at all. And then like Film Threat and Friday Night Tights and stuff were like, we've seen episodes. It'll be interesting. Even they were trying to not overtly prime the pump to be totally awful, but it was like when the shills who have been screaming from the rooftops that everything Disney does is right, then we find out they're half the time they're being paid, but it doesn't matter. When those people are quiet, when those people are crickets, you know it's going to be bad. When they can't even come up with lies that they can stomach.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's the truth. And that's the worst part about it is like, that's how, and I don't know if there's a change in Hollywood or if maybe, I don't think it's a change in Hollywood per se, but I think some of these institutions out there are tired of getting made fools of, whether that's fools of going out there and shilling for these shows. And then these shows bomb, right? The show costs hundreds of millions of dollars because it's not just the audience score. It's not just the critics score. It's the ratings, right? Because this right here, this is a prime example of this, right? You have everybody melting down, but here's another prime example. This guy right here, the fact that I've never watched one Star Wars show or film, and I was considering starting the Acolyte, and now it's canceled. Dude, you're the reason it's canceled. You're the reason it's canceled. Go ahead, Christy. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's such a lie of a tweet. It's like somebody wanted to get in on the action. You know, why wouldn't you be watching it before?
Right.
Yeah. Hey, anyway, I have to bounce, you guys.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Have a good night,
Fine.
Christy.
It'll just
Always
be me
happy
and
to see
Tiny
you.
tonight then. Go check out Flip City Magazine. Go get you a subscription. It's the best, cheapest quality comedy you're going to get in the modern era. Go check it
very
out.
Cheap.
It is just very
Ew.
cheap. Just like Christy, just get her a couple of drinks and she'll tell you all about the magazine. It's great.
Night.
Bye. Bye, Christy. Go check out Flip City Magazine. It's great. It is. It's actually really funny too. I've read a couple of issues of it. It's really great. Yeah, only 29 critics reviewed this shit. Yeah. And and this is what it comes down to. And Janky puts it really, really, really well. And like, we've got the numbers right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
This report comes in the wake of the Nielsen ratings. It's data for the week the Acolyte series finale aired. The show only managed to garner 335 million minutes watched. That was less than the 2-episode premiere, which brought in 488 million minutes, which sounds like a lot, but literally it's worse than that. And it's worse than Ahsoka. It's worse. And that's one of the things I wish Cosmic Book News was always really good about comparing those to the other ones. But here you go. Here's a great one. Mac. Each Disney, this is the problem right here that all of those woke weirdos out there are not wanting to accept. Each Disney Star Wars Plus show season finale draws lower viewership than the one before, not including the Mandalorian season 3 finale, but resuming with Ahsoka. Book of Boba Fett, 885. Obi-Wan, 860. Andor, 674. Ahsoka, 575. And now this one with 335.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally 100 worse, over 100 worse than Ahsoka's season finale, which Ahsoka was the least watched Star Wars show prior to this.
Yep.
Outside of Andor. And now this one's worse than Andor. The least Star Wars of all. Gay Star Wars is less watched than the least Star Wars show of all the Star Wars shows, Andor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our fault.
Yep.
It got canceled. It's our fault.
It's our fault that they were too upset to watch it when they could have had the chance to save it. Or something like that.
Yeah.
People who want to make themselves a victim all the time anyway, they're going to find a way to make themselves a victim in everything. Just about. It's nuts. I actually recorded my first video today because I was so frustrated and angry about stuff. And my mom has convinced my doctor to give me an ultimatum that I'm not allowed to watch things that make me really upset or angry because it triggers my pain.
Oh,
or if I allow myself to watch things like that and I start to get agitated, I have to turn on the camera on the phone or the computer and record my ranting so that I can turn it into something worthwhile later. I've been literally told by my doctors, you're not allowed to get so upset.
That is well, I mean, we are doing it on a live stream. You can gladly clip these out. I mean, everybody seems to enjoy your rants out there in the chat. We were getting plenty of comments about tiny rants. So I mean, yeah, you could just pull a me and be like, hey, look, it's Tiny ranted. It's like Common Nerd, except small and tiny, and it's cute when she rants. So yeah. I mean, absolutely. Yeah, Wrangler over here says they destroyed Star Wars so horribly bad that I don't know if it can ever be resurrected. And that's one of the things, Wrangler. That's why you'll hear a lot of people talk about how Star Wars is a dead franchise. And it's one of them situations where it is a dead franchise, basically, as long as it's in the hands of Disney. If things do turn around, right? The rumor is right now, and this comes from WDW Pro, which Pro has like a 98% accuracy rating when it comes to his scoops. Okay. Pro knows what the hell he's talking about. There are still nice people inside of Disney that are willing to talk to WDW Pro and let him know what's going on. What Pro has said is that the word from on high from Burbank to Lucasfilm is knock this shit off. Go back to characters that everybody know. Concentrate on Luke. Concentrate on these characters that work, that everybody loves. Stop this BS. Stop this nonsense. It doesn't work, right? That's the word on high. So that being said, you might get occasionally a decent Star Wars Disney show like we got with Mando season 1 and season 2? Sure. The problem with that is unless they decanonize the Disney Star Wars trilogy, which they never will, not unless major leadership changes happen inside the Walt Disney Company, it all still leads to soy Luke. It all still leads to the broken down man sucking green titty milk out of some weird alien on a planet hiding out from the rest of the universe instead of being the hero he should be. Saving the universe. And that's the end of the day. That's the problem. That's the problem right there. You will never get the majority of your Star Wars fan base back because of that. And that will take somebody that will either take a giant change in leadership of the Walt Disney Company, or that will take somebody else coming in and buying the IP. And the only way that's going to happen is if Star Wars gets shelved for a long time, because it's literally so unprofitable that Disney can't produce anything anymore. And honestly, at this point, even if they the real test will be that Mando and Grogu movie, right? If that Mando and Grogu movie ends up with numbers like the Solo movie or even Rise of Palpatine, because they're not going to spend as much money on that one as they did Rise of Palpatine because of all the reshoots and everything else with that movie, right? They basically reshot that entire movie. And that's why it lost money, because it ended up costing them like $600 million to do it. But that'll be the real test. If the general audiences that were the ones that made all three of those Disney Star Wars movies, billion-dollar grossing movies, if those people don't show up to the Mando and Grogu movie, the only popular thing that Disney Star Wars has had, then that's how you know it's officially dead, because you won't even get the normies back. If you can't get the normies into the box office for Mando and that cute little shit Grogu, it's over. It's done. That's how we will know. So give it a couple of years. We will be able to officially declare it dead if that movie flops at the box office.
Well, but I don't think the movie can make it at the box office to a large degree, because Mando season 3 killed so much of the freaking good feelings or whatever that Mando season 1 and 2 had given us.
Right. The
Mando season 1 and 2 were really good. I mean, they weren't perfect, but they were really good, and they were still better than anything we've gotten from Disney Star Wars in general, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But season 3 just it threw it all out the fucking window.
Yeah, and I didn't even bother.
It's so easy to break things, and it's really hard to fix them, and sometimes they can't be fixed.
Anybody that has ever worked in customer service for a long period of time and has seen those customers that get screwed over one time and you never see them again, right? You will never see them again. And that's the thing about it, is what they don't realize is we are the small minority on the internet screaming about this stuff, talking about this stuff, making videos about it. We are the small minority of the fan base that is upset with what you are doing. The majority of them don't say shit. They just leave, and you will never get them back.
Nope.
You will never get them back. It's that silent section of the fan base that just walks away, and they'll never come back. All it takes is to burn them one time, and they are done forever. And that's a damage. That's a generational damage. When they talk about like what Bud Light did caused generational damage, it's the exact same thing with Star Wars. What Disney has done has caused generational damage to the brand that used to be a money printing machine.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, as a kid in the 90s, when we hadn't had a Star Wars anything come out in the theaters since the original trilogy, right? Yep. No idea that we were going to get the prequels later on down the road. There was always a huge section of Walmart of Star Wars toys.
Yep.
Luke, Darth Vader, all that kind of stuff. I remember going and after watching those movies, asking my grandma for those brand new Luke Skywalker's toys from Return of the Jedi because they were still selling them brand new at Walmart. Have you been to Walmart lately? How big is your Star Wars section? Is it even still there?
I don't go to Walmart, but I have heard from people who do go to Walmart that it's there, but it's like 1 or 2 sets of shelves and that's it. And half of it's just sitting there, especially if any of it is from the sequels.
Ollie's has I think Ollie's has a bigger section of Disney Star Wars toys than Walmart does at this point.
Yep.
And I'm not even kidding. And I'm with you on this one too, Wrangler. I did enjoy Rogue One as well. I liked Rogue One. That was the only Disney Star Wars movie that I actually enjoyed. And I know there's a lot of issues with it. I know there's some plot holes and stuff like that, but I did legitimately enjoy that movie a lot. That's the only good Disney Star Wars movie as far as I'm concerned. And even then, that's relative. You know, that's like saying, well, it's the shiniest piece of crap in the pile. So I'll take that one, but I do. I think Rogue One's the only one that I've actually gone back and watched more than once and like gone out of my way to go, I want to watch Rogue One. And I think I still have only watched it like 2 or 3 times, and I've watched all the rest of Star Wars more than that, all the rest of the movies more than that. And so that's one of the things. Anyone watching new Alien or Predator media? How about the Terminator? These parasites killed those franchises. Well, and that's one of the things we were going to talk about the Aliens movie tonight too, but Diesel's not here. And Tiny, you didn't go see it, did you?
I did not see it. Nope.
No.
So I can't talk about it much.
Yeah, and neither did I. So stick around, Chris. Next week, Diesel should be back, and he went and saw that. And he'll be able to give you his full assessment. And Diesel really is I'm just your humble common nerd, right?
He's a super Alien fan.
Right. Like when I call myself the common nerd, it's because jack of all trades, but master of none, but sometimes better than a master of one nerd isn't a very catchy name for a channel. Right. So I know a little bit about a lot, and occasionally I'll remember enough stuff to one up you on something. But I'm really good about surrounding myself with people that are way smarter than me and experts about this kind of stuff. Diesel is our Transformers and Alien nerd. Mm-hmm. And trust me, he will be able to break that down to you like Gary and all the rest of those guys will. And he will be able to call out the BS and let you know about the nonsense and all of that kind of stuff too. And so, yeah, I feel you on that one. But yeah, that's exactly what that's happened. Same thing with the Terminator franchise. I honestly do think the Terminator anime from Netflix actually looks like it's going to be pretty good. I do have a little bit of cautious optimism from that one just because of the way the people involved in it have talked. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
There's going to be an anime?
Yeah, on Netflix.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it's coming on Judgment Day. The date of Judgment Day in the movies is when it's releasing on Netflix.
That's hilarious.
And they're doing it intentionally. It's very intentional.
Oh yeah.
So it's like
and
there's a little
Arnold
bit of respect for that.
Doing so much stuff with Netflix, is Arnold still the voice?
No, there's a new Terminator. So this is actually what this is set. The story premise behind this one is this is set in Japan. Okay. And there's an engineer in Japan. He's an American guy working in Japan. And he's an engineer that knows what's coming with Skynet, and he is trying to build his own AI to stop it.
Okay.
And because according to the future, he has the potential to be successful. It's basically the kind of the same story, except instead of having to go in Sarah Connor, you're now going after this guy that's trying to stop Skynet's by countering it with his own AI. So you've got a new Terminator that's coming in after him.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it's same universe, completely different country, completely different story. You know, which I appreciate that. They're not trying to rewrite the wheel.
And it does make sense that there'd actually be more than one potential savior of the future.
Right, because this is a big problem that a lot of people should have known. And that was the other thing too, is this is a guy that's trying to stop it now, whereas they were trying to prevent John Connor from becoming a hero in the future and being part of the resistance. So this is a guy trying to stop, that knows what Skynet's potential is and is trying to stop it now. He's trying to make a counter AI, I guess.
Cool. That is really cool.
So yeah, so that one, I'm like I said, I'm cautious optimistic about that one. I'll wait to see. The trailers have looked good so far. Curious to see what happens with it. We'll see how it works. Because I mean, we've seen some really good stuff done in universes like Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Prime example, right? Cyberpunk 2099, huge flop because of all the bugginess and everything else. And then Edge Runners like revived like the whole little thing for a little while. And they're like, here's your shot. And fortunately enough, Cyberpunk, fixed a lot of his issues and actually ended up making it a game I haven't got a chance to play yet. I think I actually might have it in my Steam library, but I haven't got a chance to play it yet. But I've heard a lot of the problems have been fixed. It's very enjoyable now. And so they actually were able to fix things. And with the help of a really good Netflix series, they were able to kind of jumpstart that and kind of revitalize a lot of what they had lost. But still, once again, just like what we were talking about with Star Wars, there's a good portion they were never going to get back after doing something like that too.
Well, I mean, do you know what studio's doing it by any chance?
I don't remember off the top of my head. No, it's been a while since I've seen anything. I don't remember which one it is. That was the plot. That is what I heard.
The ending is awful.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. I've heard the ending was bad. Which is kind of funny.
Supposedly, I think Diesel made a post on X where he said, I know a lot of people are not going to like the end, but it wasn't so bad.
Nah, listen to him, fanboy. I love it.
Yeah.
That was the plot of the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I never watched that, but I heard it was okay. There was a rival AI played by Shirley Manson trying to defeat Skynet. Oh, interesting. Well, they're doing something like that just in Japan. So I don't know. We'll see how it ends up going. Yeah, see, there you go. I was bummed when they canceled the Sarah Connor Chronicles. You see, that's why I never watched it, but
it was actually relatively good.
That's what I've heard too. I've heard that as well. So I don't know. Maybe we'll have to check that out. Yeah, no, Madhouse, we're not doing that. And we told you why earlier. We're not doing any of that anymore. See, there you go. JR24. I love the Sarah Connor Chronicles. There you go. Because over on Rumble's studio, I can actually turn the redirect to Rumble on and do those kind of things. I can't do that with StreamYards. So yeah, not getting copyright claimed anymore on YouTube. That has crushed our algorithm into oblivion, and I don't know if I'm honestly ever going to be able to recover from it. So yeah, it's pretty fucking bad. I literally have barely cracked 100 views on all but like maybe 2 videos in the last 2 weeks. I went from getting thousands of views to less than 100 on 99% of my videos.
And you pretty sure it's from a copyright strike?
It's not even the strike. It's just too many copyright claims because I was watching shit. I was watching shit that I didn't think, because as long as I didn't monetize the streams, I wouldn't think it was going to be that big a deal. But it does affect your algorithm. And my shit got crushed to a motherfucker for that one. So yeah, it's pretty fucking bad. I should have been at 1,400 subscribers by now. And I was stuck at like 1185 for almost 2 weeks.
Ouch.
So yeah, pretty bad. Pretty fucking bad. The animation is being made by Production IG. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Oh, Cersei Lannister was. Oh, is that who they had playing? Sarah Connor? Shit, I might have to go back and check that out. I've seen her tits. I might have to go check that out. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's true too. But we try not to delve into politics over here. That ain't got nothing to do with what happened to me. But hopefully I can get it all straightened out. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's fucking funny as shit. And that's just the thing, is like, that's what they've done. It's the same thing that they've done here to Star Wars. This is a damaged brand. Yep. Right? This is like Bud Light damage. This used to be a money printing machine without ever releasing any new media other than the books and the RPGs and some video games. I mean, video games and the comics too, right? Yeah. Video games, comics, and books kept this franchise relevant for decades to where
beloved and relevant.
Yep.
And constantly making a profit. And now it's constantly negative hundreds of millions of dollars on just about everything they touch.
Yeah. I mean, they went from, it was always one of the number one, you know, the Star Wars stuff was always some of the number one selling stuff at Christmas. They were always releasing something fun and new around the Christmas time because there was still a big fan base for that kind of stuff.
Indiana Jones was still making money. Indiana Jones was still selling merch. Indiana Jones was still getting new people into it because their parents or their siblings or whatever, or their significant others got them into it because it's such good writing and it's such good movies. They killed that too. Anything that was at Lucasfilms, anything that got bought by Disney has turned to absolute shit. And that's insane because Disney used to be printing money and Disney should have been able to take these IPs and just become the richest fucking company in the world. But no, because they can't do anything to cater to their customers and their customer base because it messes with their ability to push their message. They'd rather be at the mercy of their investors, angry at every quarter, constantly on edge, and not making a single fucking piece of profit. They'd rather do that than shut up about stupid messaging and just make good, positive, moral entertainment and become unbelievably filthy rich. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, and you're right. And that's one of the things that this is why I have been calling it a cult for a very long time, right? And the spirit of the age isn't something that phrase has been around for a while. But that's why I've been calling it a cult for so long. These people are possessed by the spirit of the age because they will there is nothing that they will not sacrifice on the altar of their agenda. And it's literally no different than the Old Testament and people passing and throwing their babies into the fires of Baal, hoping for a good harvest. It's literally the same thing. They will burn money. They will burn their friends. They will burn their families. They will burn down billion-dollar companies, all so they can push their agenda. No matter what, it does not matter if the entire rest of the world looks at them and goes, "You're insane. We want no part of this whatsoever." They will still look you dead in the eye and go, "No, I am right. You are wrong." And you will comply no matter what the world throws in their face. And it's mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling. If it wasn't for the fact that I read the Old Testament and I remember those Israelites that saw manna fall down from the sky and were there when the Red Sea was parted, and yet they still were like, "Well, is he really God? Should we really listen to what he says?" And I'm like, okay, I get the retarded people we have nowadays. There's literally always been retarded people.
Yep.
It's so they have no problem. They will sacrifice everything until the adult in the room removes them from their place of power, because that's what it takes. And supposedly that's what happened over at Marvel. Kevin Feige cleaned house of all the woke producers, because guess what? Their shit doesn't sell, and 2 + 2 still equals fucking 4.
Yep. And it's not racist.
Nope. It's not racist. It's just math. Sorry. Yeah, absolutely nuts. Go ahead.
I don't blame any aliens for not coming to visit.
Right?
I mean, at this point, I wouldn't want to come visit. I wouldn't want to spend how much ever fuel it takes to go a couple light years to come see these idiots on this stupid blue marble that can't fucking get their heads out of their asses. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't the Jews in the Old Testament. It was
no.
pagans in the Old Testament that did that.
Right. It wasn't. Yeah, no, it wasn't the Jews that did that. Well, I mean, some of the Jews that became pagans later down the road when you get into Kings and a few other things. It was the pagans.
My Hebrew name is Ruth.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
I do know a bit about the whole going from one side to the other.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, love Ruth. And for anybody out there that says the Bible doesn't put forward strong female leaders. Ruth. Like she's got an entire book. Like, don't even get me started on that.
And my mother is Devorah. She got rid of the enemy captain and took his head.
I love that story too. Oh, that was such a.
And she was one of the prophetesses. We had multiple prophetesses. They weren't just prophets; they were prophetesses.
and guess why God sometimes has to go to a woman? Because all the males in their society are a bunch of beta male bitches that would just rather have all the fun and have their brothels and orgies than actually stand up and do the right thing.
Yep. But also, it's just there's actually so much more. I mean, it's.
There you go.
It's not just the patriarchs, it's also the matriarchs. All of the matriarchs are always honored. In almost every holiday we have, almost all the matriarchs are always honored. Yeah. And if you actually spend any time with a Orthodox or even modern Orthodox family, every Friday night, every single Shabbos, they sing a song about how amazing the mother of the family and the wife of the family is, and how much she does for the family and for the community and everything else. So there's really not that much sexism in the Old Testament. It really pisses me off when people act like there is.
No, it's really not. It's total bullshit. It's total bullshit.
I mean, ketubas. We've had divorce documents for 6,000 years. Divorce documents that protected women and children more than men.
Yep, they sure as hell did. Yeah, we were going over some of those rules, and since Wrangler says we've been studying Ruth at church for the last 3 weeks. What a coincidence! So on this channel, on Rumble, YouTube, everywhere I stream, on Sundays at 2 p.m., we do a Bible study for an hour every single Sunday, and we're actually going through the Old Testament right now. We just got done with Kings. We just got done with the one after that, and I can't remember what we're on now. But yeah, we're literally going through the Old Testament right now, and yeah, we've been having a blast with that. And yeah, that was what you were bringing up about the divorce laws and stuff like that. I was like, that's so funny because I remember reading all of that, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought everybody said the Bible was sexist. What is this shit right here? Like, yeah, dude, it was some of them. The rules were harsh too on what would happen to the men. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, you try to lie about a woman's purity or any of this other kind of nonsense. Oh, it ain't going to end well for you, homeboy. It's not going to end well for you. See you later, Animation Overload. Good to see you, buddy. Oh man.
The irony is that in some of the communities today, it would be harder to get permission to take your ketubah and get a divorce than it would have been in the olden days, in the Old Testament days.
Oh wow. That's kind of crazy to think about. But that I don't know. But it also might be one of those situations where it's like, y'all have used this as an excuse for too long. Look, we need to keep these families together. We're dying here. Come on.
No.
What are you doing to this?
No, 2 p.m. What it was is even though technically we're not supposed to get overly affected by the societies we live within, I'm sorry, a couple hundred, almost 1,000 years in Eastern Europe, you're going to be affected. But it's actually more the sexist views of the goy in so many parts of like Eastern Europe and other Europe that actually created this much more insular sexist communities. And it's like, that's not from the text. That's from where y'all were living.
Right. It has nothing to do with the text. It is.
Nope.
And that's one of the reasons why I like what we do with our Bible study on Sundays. And it's 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, Wrangler, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, on Sundays. And that's one of the things, like that was always my whole point of the way I've done my Bible study, right? Mm-hmm. Because what we do is we read straight from the book, and I'll read straight from the book for about 30 to 45 minutes, right? Depending on how long the intro takes. And what I do is I set aside the last 15 minutes to go through the entire chat. Right. We go through and we read everybody's questions, and like Griffin and there's a few other guys. Darth Dave shows up. A lot of those guys are much more knowledgeable about the book than I am. Like I officially finally finished Revelation just last Saturday. I finished the entire. So I've officially read the Bible from cover to cover. technically on the Bible study, this is my third time through the Old Testament, and I guess technically I'm reading through it for the third time on my own as well. So I started back at Genesis and I'm working my way forward again. That's just how I am. I'm a chronological
basically
person.
You're acting like a Jew.
Sure. And so
we have to read. We read the entire. Read the entire Torah every year. Every single week has a specific parsha, a specific part of the Torah. You have to read that exact week, and you go through the entire Torah from start to finish every single year.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So I don't like that was never in my, I love that though. That's great. I wish there was more of the Jewish traditions that we held on to in modern Christianity, like what we used to. Because there's a lot of them that I think would be very relative and should help remind us of our past as much as what we talk about Christ in our future and stuff like that with as well. But yeah, so that's what I do. I'll read all the way through and then we go through the entire chat because a lot of time we'll have lurkers. We have people that catch it on the replay and all that kind of stuff. And so my goal was to read it straight from the book and put it out there in the world because this isn't the 1600s. This isn't the dark ages anymore. This is not a time where we're all ignorant and the majority we're a more literate planet now than we have ever been in recorded history, right? The history that we actually can know about. We're more literate now than we've ever been. Yeah. And so there is no excuse for anybody to be able to go, well, God said this. Bullshit. I got the reference book. You want to try this? I can pull it up. We can look at, and that's the goal is we're reading it straight out of the book. No one can go, well, the Old Testament's a bunch of sexists. They hated women, yada, yada. Oh, really? Because the rules we just read off say the direct opposite. Okay. And so that's the goal is to have as much of the actual word itself out there into the world and just kind of let it do its thing. And then then the last 15 minutes we cuss and discuss over all of it. So yeah, that's my goal. You know, there is no, by the time we're done, we'll pretty much have the entire Bible read out in we'll have to eventually go back and do Genesis because we started at Exodus. But we'll eventually have to go back and do that. And do all that stuff beforehand. But like that's the goal is to have it word for word out there of this is exactly what it says. So anybody out there that goes, well, no, that's not very Christian of you. Would you like me to tell you what Jesus did with a cat of nine tails and some money changers? Don't tell me what my God says is okay and not okay. Like that's the Christ version I identify the most because trust me, if I could get access to Lucasfilm, I'd have a cat of nine tails and we'd be flipping some damn tables. Okay. Like there's just no like out of my father's house. Like it'd be Star Wars theory running through Lucasfilm. George Lucas is his daddy. Out of my father's house, just whipping people and flipping tables, man. You know, like, and like, so
I want to see that so badly right now. I want to see him do that.
That would be out of my father.
He's one of the best voices on YouTube.
Theory's good.
He's got a really great, deep, smooth voice.
He does. Theory's great. I love Theory.
Well, at least in Judaism, supposedly we reread the Torah every single year because every time you read it, you're supposed to be able to find something new and get something different out of it to one degree or another. And when I was at A&M, I was connected to Hillel at first. And for the High Holy Days, they like to have some of the students do the sermon. And it was really funny because I got chosen to do for Rosh Hashanah. Hold 1 second.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, no, and that's the thing about that is that's what I love about that is when you find out about the truth, it's pretty interesting. I like this. Yeah, Jewish traditions definitely have a strong family focus. It's a shame we strayed so far from those values. Yeah, I agree with on that one 100%.
And your mother's your first teacher in a Jewish household. Your mother helped start to teach you Hebrew at a very young age. And at 4, you start Hebrew school. And in the old days, at 10, you got sent out to learn a trade that you brought back, that you used to pay for your family. And you brought back and you brought your wife into your parents' household. And everything was very multi-generational and everything was very interconnected. Yep. And yeah, I really hate that that's been lost in so many ways.
Yeah, me too. And that's one of the things like it's big. We can, there's a lot of things, big daddy government, lack of people taking accountability, lack of people not being watchers on the wall, like God charged us all to be, to keep this stuff out. And there was a great, and, it's so funny because we just got done reading the story of Josiah on Sunday. We went through Josiah's story and it's so fascinating too, because Josiah, did everything God wanted. He got rid of everything. I always have these great images when reading these Old Testament stories about how we could adapt these into like a great movie or an anime or something like that. And just like watching Josiah and like a group of his boys just go like John Wick on like all the pagans and like, sacrificing them on all like their own altars and like everything. I'm like, that is just hardcore. But what happened? Literally, right after he was gone, everything went right back to hell, right? His sons were even worse than him, because that shows you government top down is not the solution.
Nope.
Because you have to change the culture, because they had some great kings. But what happens? Right after that king was gone, right after that great prophet was gone and everybody stopped listening to him, boy, the culture went right back to the way it was, because you can't fix things from the top down. It has to be a cultural change.
Yeah, my grandfather used to say that his grandfather, though he was poor and lived not in a shtetl not far from Bialystok, every day he walked with God, and he wished for his grandson to have peace and safety and health and education and money and all these things. And his grandson, my grandfather, had everything his grandfather had ever wished for him. But if his grandfather had known that he would have all those things and not walk with God every day, his grandfather would rather he had never had those things.
Yeah. Yeah. That's absolutely the truth. And you see that as a generational.
Oh, okay. Ed. Okay. So my grandfather was this futurist and a big wig in the intellectual sides of things in the 20th century. And so in the 60s, he was invited to basically test acid.
Oh, nice. All right.
He was at one of his scientists.
We're not promoting this, boys and girls.
No, we're not promoting this at all. But the funny thing was, I don't know if it was acid or LSD or whatever, but it was whatever that was that before it had become illegal, and that all the like bigwigs were looking at the psychedelic.
Right, before the government got involved.
Yeah. Well, he did it just once. And supposedly he said when he was in the high, he absolutely knew 100% that a true kosher life is the only way to truly live. And then it went away.
Right. Right.
But it was just really funny that his interaction with that was like suddenly like for just a few minutes there, or for hours, however long. I don't know how long it lasts, but
right. It depends on how much you take and all kinds of other things. But yeah,
he did it once only. And he came home and told my grandma that for a while there, he knew that a purely kosher life was the best way to live and the only way to live. And then the feeling went away and he came home.
Well, and that's the other thing too about it. And that's why like stuff like that can give you insight. But if you don't utilize the insight that it gave you and actually apply it in your life, it's just like reading the Torah or reading the Bible. You can read it all day long. You can take a horse to water, but if you're not willing to drink, and what's funny about that too is actually the kosher diet, although not the most flavorful, is actually one of the healthiest you can actually eat out there. And so it's actually kind of funny about that too.
Well, I mean, yes and no, but also like it goes along with the fact that a lot of people find that the Mediterranean diet is one of the better diets for them in general.
Oh yeah.
But also just the amount of Jewish laws that God basically said, because I said so, but then when we have higher sciences and maths and other things, we learn, oh, there's a totally legitimate scientific reason for this that God just didn't want to explain to people who didn't fucking have a basis to ever understand. I believe that the Torah is the word of God, but I also believe that most of Genesis is metaphor, because I don't think that the sun, even a very metropolitan Babylonian, not Babylonian, Sumerian. Abraham came from Ur, most likely. His father, he was actually very urbanite, but for the time. But no matter how urbanite you are for that time, you're not going to understand quantum physics.
No. And that's one of the things is because there was a buddy of ours from Africa that used to come in, or South Africa specifically, used to come into our Bible studies all the time on Sundays. And I hope he's doing okay, especially considering all the turmoil. I haven't seen or heard from him in a while. But yeah, one of the other things he used to say is Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving Earth. Right. And one of the things that I love about that is when you read the Old Testament and you read the New Testament, both, if all of society collapsed, right, And we knew nothing about clean water. We knew nothing about the fact that shellfish, if you're allergic to it, can kill you. And if you don't have a freaking pen right there, you're going to die. And even if you do, you can still die from it, right? That
trichinosis. You're going to get trichinosis from pork faster than anything else. And shellfish and pork are more likely to go bad and be more dangerous as they go bad more than any other thing that you could get in the Mediterranean.
Right. So if the entire rest of society collapsed and the only thing you had was like the Torah and the Bible or whatever, and that's all you knew about how a society should operate, your society would function, survive, and flourish as long as you followed all of those rules.
Yep.
And that's the wild part of it, because it's basic instructions before leaving Earth. It will get you to survive. You will be just fine if you do this. And that's the funny part, because like you said, and how the hell is God going to explain that to those people? Well, okay, you can't eat this because your son might potentially.
And then there was nothing.
Then there was light.
And then there was light. That's the Big Bang, motherfucker.
Yeah, because your own science says something can't come from nothing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like your whole basis, and there's a whole lot of flaws in the Big Bang, especially the more we find out about science and the edge of the universe. And there are more mysteries in heaven and earth than any of us will ever understand. And science's only goal should ever have been to understand. Yeah, exactly. The only goal of science ever should have been was to understand the mind of God. And when that's their goal, they do really great things. And when they don't, well, they lead to genocides. So no.
Well, the new telescope actually showed certain things that we expected and certain things that the only way they could happen is if there's either a piece of physics we still don't understand. Not to mention, I remember when I was a kid, people were just really starting about dark matter, and then there was like dark matter takes up like 5% of the universe. Now they think dark matter takes up 95% of the universe.
And
my favorite thing with all this is there's a mathematician in Israel. He was at Tel Aviv University, who supposedly, because when you get closer to the center of the universe, time moves much slower.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the idea is, since we're on the outer edges of an expanding universe, if you got to the center, it would be moving so much slower that literally 7 days approximately at the very center of the universe where the Big Bang happened literally could be 4 billion years at the edges of the universe. So God creates the Big Bang, and for him it's 7 fucking days. He don't got to worry about nothing. He's God. For us, it took 4 billion years to get to where he wanted us. God damn it.
That's an interesting combination. Yeah, that's one of those conversations that we kind of touched on a little bit the other day on that, and that's not something I want to get too deep into, the whole the day's definition, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's funny just to see all that kind of stuff and see how science literally just ends up like rewriting itself all the time, and that's what it's supposed to do. That's what good science is. It's supposed to be questioning and testing. And when guess what? Things don't work and those theories don't hold out. Guess what? We have to find something new. You have to come up with a new idea. The problem is when you have these dogmatics.
Yes.
Right. You have these cultists
cult of personality. Well,
yeah.
There were, I don't know if remember this. There was I think it was in 2016 or 17, maybe even earlier. But there were 2, I think, MIT guys who we finally had the level of technology we could start testing some of Einstein's theories. And they had the great honor of getting the grants to do one of these tests. And they basically proved Einstein wrong. And then they've been so upset. They redid it, and they redid it like a 3rd time or something. And then they published their findings, and they were on like late night TV shows for a little while, getting their 15 minutes of fame. And they were on one late night show, and he was talking about so you proved Einstein was wrong, huh? That's got to be a ego stroke. And the 2 of them burst into tears. They were crying. They were so upset that they had proved Einstein wrong. If Einstein was here, he'd be laughing or yelling at you. He would be very happy you proved him wrong so he could figure out what the right answer would be. This isn't about keeping the greatness of Einstein. You can't take away from him. He was a genius. He did a whole bunch of amazing stuff. A lot of his stuff has been proven to be correct. So proving the other stuff wrong doesn't take anything away from him. But these, I want to say kids, but they had to be in their 30s or whatever. They're graduate students, but They were so, it was like you ripped their soul out by proof, but the fact that they had been the ones that proved Einstein, I'm like, he would have wanted you to. Do you really not understand that?
Yeah. And that's, like you said, it's the cult of personality. That's a great way to look at it, because it's the surrounding of these guys. And it's not just always necessarily a cult of personality either. A lot of time that will happen with those, especially with big icons like Einstein and stuff like that. I'm sure it'll eventually be the same thing for Hawking. Somebody else will flip out when they prove Hawking wrong about something later down the road.
Well, if the amount of times he seems to have gone to a certain island ever seems to be proven as what seems to be coming out, I'm not sure anyone's going to be wanting to talk about his theories much to begin with.
Yeah, if any of that ever actually ends up coming out. But that being beside the point, there's also a cult of certain ideologies, right?
Yeah.
Well, we know it's this way. We know. How do you know that if you're not willing to dig further than what you're willing to dig? Well, that's just, everybody thinks this way. Oh, really? Tell that to Germany during World War II. Tell that to everybody in the Trail of Tears. Tell that to every other major stupid ass idea that the crowd has all gone along with and the disastrous dumpster fire has led to. I don't know, Star Wars? The whole crowd said that was the direction to go. How'd that pan out for you? It's just like, that's what's so dumb about this. It's so dumb about this. Yeah, exactly. The very nature of science is for everyone to try to prove a theory wrong. Yeah, to test it and find out whether it's true or not. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I wonder about how these doctoral theses are going, because it used to be, to get your PhD, you had to come up with thesis. You had to work really hard and really prove your thesis. And then you had to argue it in front of experts who would personally try to rip you into little tiny shreds. That was their job.
Yeah.
Was to rip you into shreds, that you had to really defend that's how you got a PhD. And do they not do that anymore? Because a lot of these, I mean, I don't want to be mean, because the guys were actually obviously very smart and they obviously knew what they were doing to a large degree because they proved Einstein wrong. But I mean, where is their spirit of adventure? Where's their going beyond? Okay, we proved Einstein wrong. Oh my God. What is the next path? What can we do now to build on this? Like, we used to search for frontiers. We used to look for the things that were not done. We used to purposely take the harder path because you would find more shit. And now it's all like, you should always go the easiest way. You should have the shortest attention span. You should have no creativity. You should only do what you're said. Here's your little box to live in for the rest of your fucking life. Hence my screen name.
Won't be boxed.
I remember being in middle school. And it was there, the slight change was starting to happen where it was, first it was everyone can be anything you want to be. Nothing should hold you back. You shouldn't be worried just because you're a boy and you want to wear pink. That's fine. You're still masculine. If you're a girl and you want to climb trees, that's fine. You're still a female. You can do anything you want to be, and there should be nothing stopping you. At which point I was already starting to talk to people about, like, well, what about your qualifications?
Right.
And I literally got looked at like, you're a very strange child. I'm like, but what about qualifications? You're saying everyone can be anything, and that's not true. I mean,
no.
I knew by the time I was 6 that there was no way I was going to be a Navy SEAL. So the best option I had was to become a Marine. Yeah. And that's what I spent the rest of my life planning for. But I knew I wasn't going to be a Navy SEAL because my dad was tiny. Well, he's not. He's average. And my mom is tiny. And I was going to be tiny. Yep. So that was unfortunately something I was stuck with.
Yeah. That was just the hand you were dealt with. And that's the biggest problem. The idea that it's not about anybody can be anything. It's about finding out what you're good at and trying to become better at that. Finding something that you can do that you're good at, that you can continue to do, and that you can make money at. Like finding your place in society, whatever that place is. And that's the problem. It went from, don't ask your country what you can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. It went from that to they literally flipped the script. It's all about you. It's all about your ego. It's all about your narcissism. And guess what? This is what happens when you remove God from every aspect, because human beings are designed to believe in something.
Yep.
And guess what? If you don't have God in his proper place in your life, then yes, you are going to make Einstein your God. You are going to make this theory your God. You are going to make Dave Filoni your God, whatever it is. And then when something threatens that, even when your own mathematical science threatens that, it breaks your fucking brain. But guess what? If God was the highest authority in your life, it wouldn't affect you, because you know Einstein was just a mother man, just like you, who pissed and shit his pants when he was a baby as a diaper, probably wet the bed when he was potty training. And guess what? When he got old, he probably needed somebody to wipe his ass too. That's who he was. He was just a man like the rest of us, who just happened to be an exceptional man in a lot of genius ways. But he was also extremely socially awkward in a lot of ways too.
Yeah. Also,
So
JRR has Einstein believed in God at the end of his days, and he did. And actually, it's not just him. There's a lot of scientists that when they go into the physics and the advanced scientists, sometimes they lose their faith. But the ones that go into the highest science, the one that are looking at quantum physics, the one that are looking at the really edges of what we understand, they almost always become much more, at the very least, spiritual, if not religious. I mean, CERN is dedicated to finding the God particle. They're convinced there is a particle that unites all things in the universe, and they've named it the God particle.
Yeah. Well, and it's so funny too, because it used to be some of our best discoveries came from scientists that were also religious men. I mean, we had priests.
Because you had to be a religious person, or you ended up tied to a cross.
No, I'm not talking about that far back. I'm talking like 50s and 60s time frame. Like some of the big, no, like some of the biggest breakthroughs were like people that were priests. And I can't ever remember the name of him, and shame on me for not remembering to him. But it was one of the guys. It was a priest, and he's like, and somebody was asking him, he's like, well, isn't your science and isn't all this stuff you're learning, making you understand that God isn't real? And it was this atheist asking this question. And he's like, you don't understand. My whole purpose is to understand the mind of God and how he did all of this. Because there is none of this without him. The math doesn't work to begin with. And it's just like, and that was never my purpose. And I remember this guy was like a Nobel winner for a bunch of shit. But he was a priest, and it was so funny.
Originally, priests were the best educated, and they had the chance to do the most experimentation and figure out first alchemy and then more science and then continuing on. I mean, it always made sense, but it's just this idea that science automatically means there's no God never made any sense to me. God helps those who help themselves, and he made us in his image, which means our innate design is to be creative. Our innate design is to try to create things that make the world better, just as God created us to be on the world. We are supposed to do this.
Yeah.
Which is why you actually look carefully in Judaism, women are better than men because we can give birth and you can't.
But we plant the seed and you can't.
Doesn't matter. God specifically says that we are higher and closer to him.
But it's one of them situations where that's the whole thing about it. It boggles. It's always so funny to think about that. It's funny to see people say, yeah, a lot of those won some major breakthroughs and some nuclear findings were Christians. Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, but we've got one more thing we're going to get to, because we also do still have memes this evening, boys and girls, but to go on a positive note about remember, we're always talking about the positive things, the things that are causing this culture to swing back, the things that we're happy about that actually are going on and are good signs that things are indeed getting better, besides just so many things getting canceled and these companies losing hundreds of millions of dollars. Somebody out there is starting to get that. And if you didn't know, One Piece, the live action series from Netflix, it was a huge success. Netflix literally gave like the golden ticket to Oda and said, you get to do whatever the fuck you want. Just keep being successful for us. Here it is. You get whatever you want. They literally were just like, here's the checkbook. Just fill it out when you're done. And like, this is what it's been. And it's so funny because this week we're getting more casting announcements for season 2, because season 2 is currently in production. They're in South Africa right now doing all that kind of stuff. We saw the video of the crew getting back together, reuniting on the Going Merry, all of that kind of stuff. And it was really great. So if you missed it on Tuesday, I just want to go through this really quick before we get into the most recent casting announcements, because there are more casting announcements all week long. Yep. But this I thought was really cool. And this is straight from Oda. Tiny, give me the first name.
Ichiro Oda. Or Oda Sensei.
Oda. Yeah, Oda Sensei. I just like Oda Sensei because I can say that one. I love the marketing behind this. I love how into all of this is. This is a show made by fans and completely and totally signed off by the creator. Like, he has to approve basically everything in these shows and in this work. And you can see the joy and love that's coming from this. So from the One Piece account, Newscoot just delivered something special from Oda Sensei, and it's filled with excitement and anticipation for season 2. Big reveals are on the horizon, Straw Hats. Brace yourself from a journey ahead. So this is directly from Oda. Mm-hmm. So season 2.
Real quick.
Yes.
When the volumes come out, Oda has something called the SBS section. Every single volume has an SBS section. And it's generally where people write in questions and he answers them. And sometimes he puts extra pieces that give you really cool details and backgrounds on different characters and different countries and customs. And the way this is written and designed is very much like the SBS. So this is definitely him. And this is definitely like, I'm trying, like, when he does these things, you can see that he's busting with information he wants to share, and he's not sure, like, he's always trying to hold himself back from how much he can share, but he always wants to share so much. And you can always see that in the way he writes his stuff.
Night Wrangler, appreciate you being here, buddy. Yeah, and it's so true. Like, you just feel his excitement when he's reading this. Like, I absolutely love it. And like this is one of those things is I was one, and Tiny remembers, she's been around my channel long enough. Tiny remembers, I was one of the first people out there saying, guys, I legitimately think this is going to be good. And I didn't know dick about One Piece outside of the video I made. They got like 2,000 views because a bunch of the woke weirdos on Twitter were trying to pull a bunch of bullshit. And so I'm like, oh, look, fandom needs to be defended. Here I come to save the day. And that's what I did. And I got a lot, and I got a lot of credit for that. And but I've been covering One Piece, so like, this actually looks like this is going to be good. It's everybody involved in this is saying all the right things, just like I said DeMeo was saying all the right things, and everybody loved X-Men 97. I don't generally do this too often, but I was right about this one. And that's because I listen to what these people say. I listen to the marketing that is around something. Mm-hmm. And this is the marketing from this series. So from Oda Sensei himself, season 2. Yes, the live-action One Piece is currently in production with filming well underway. The story will cover Log Town, Reverse Mountain, Twin Cape, Whiskey Peak, Little Garden, and Drum Island. And there was a lot of people that thought Little Garden might get cut because some people consider it filler. Right?
It's not filler, and I knew it wasn't going to be cut. I was flipping out the first time someone said that. It has so much importance for who Usopp is, for characters that will be important thousands of chapters later. For no, you cannot skip Little Garden. You can skip Whiskey Peak possibly. I was actually hoping they were going to skip most of Whiskey Peak because you can actually get I don't want to give any spoilers, but you can get around the important aspects that happen in Whiskey Peak earlier if you really want to, and you don't have to deal with, I mean, the standoff that will happen plus the internal fight that will happen are probably going to be very enjoyable for people to watch, but it's not necessary to the story, and it will take a certain amount of time. But you cannot give up Little Garden.
There you go. So there you go.
And I figured they were not getting to Alabasta before the end of season 2. I made a bet with someone, so I'm going to be really happy.
There you go. You won. So here we go. So think about it. Imagine how much it'll cost. I love this. LOL. But whether it's the script or the cast, I continue to insist on this or that, which makes Matt, the showrunner, go, argh, and Netflix go, no. And Tomorrow Studios go, wow. As they all pull their hairs out. All that, even though we grew so close making season 1. Just, I mean, how rude. It's like they don't trust him or something. It's like, oh my God, you're asking us to do all of this to be true to the lore. Oh, it's so ridiculous.
So I will say one thing I hope they remember. In season 1, there was one thing that they wanted to do That was the only thing Oda Sensei fought them on for a long time and finally gave up. And that was having Garp come in so early in the show. And it's the one thing that most of the fans still had a problem with.
Right.
So I really hope they listen to him even better this season.
Yeah. And especially with like anybody that look, this is, if you watch the live action, you're going to find out this out pretty quick. You're going to find it out by the end of the season. But Garp comes in and you get his relationship explained to who his relationship is with the rest of the Straw Hats and all of that kind of stuff. And that's something you don't find as a guy that's like almost episode 800 on the anime. That's something you don't find out till much later down the road. And I think it's actually a hilarious way that it happens because it shocks everybody else around it so much else that it's hilarious. And they tried to convey that in the show. And I think they did a halfway decent job. But yeah, I can understand why people have complaints about it being so soon.
I think they did a halfway decent job, but that's the problem. Everything else was done generally much better, A.
You're right.
And B, it still would have been better, but that very end where I just need to make sure that it didn't make any sense. That last scene between them didn't make any sense to a lot of us. But but I am a One Piece fanatic, so I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and I'm more than willing to accept that there are things that I feel like are like, I mean, it's good, but where other people are going, yay! I'm going, yes, yay, but
right, exactly, and that's just always the way it goes. All right, so. But it's all because we all share the same passion for this show. Just as with last season, they've gone out of their way to promise that they won't put the show out until I'm satisfied. This isn't in the contract, which I didn't know.
No, thought it was, yeah.
Yeah,
I know lots of people who thought it was, including me.
Yes, including I reported on it that I thought it was that way.
Yeah.
Says this isn't in the contract, It's a verbal pledge. I hope you can appreciate how amazing and determined they are for keeping their word. And they've certainly proven their ability to bring this world to the screen. I just can't wait to see it. Meanwhile, the previously announced cast is compiled on the official X account, so go check it out. The Grand Line is even more expansive world. You may wonder, what is the inspiration behind that kingdom? How could it connect to the real world? Naturally, the distinct cast members have been assembled from around the world, and I can't help but get excited thinking about how the adventure has already begun. Among those yet to be announced, what about Vivi, Miss All Sunday? What are they doing with Chopper? We can't announce everyone all at once, but starting tomorrow, which was today, we'll be announcing more cast members over 3 days, August 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Look out for those and stay tuned for more exciting updates to come. So this will literally be a One Piece info dump week.
Also, they just had One Piece Day in Japan, and actually ended up being 2 days. One Piece Day now lasts 2 days. And it was streaming, and then actually the first day got, I don't know if it was me or if it was something over there, but it got cut off after a little while. But I got to see most of day 2 and some of the videos from day 1. And the people that are doing Wit Studios that are doing the new anime,
right?
Every single person working there is like 30 years or younger, and every single one of them grew up on One Piece, and every single one of them is a One Piece fanatic, basically. And almost everyone connected to it has already earned their bones on other majorly beloved animes. So, yeah. I mean, I think 4 of the main directing staff are all from Attack on Titan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, they've proven that they can actually make good stuff.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, and that's that they can do amazing fight scenes, that they can do vibrant characters and really bring them to and worlds that feel fully 3-dimensional and lived in and all that stuff. So yeah, they should be really good at that. And it was funny though, because they showed a lot of reference art. Like they have books and books where they're drawing out what chairs would look like and what the pattern would be. And they're drawing tables and this. And the head artist locked himself in a room for like 2 months and did nothing but draw Oda's work so that he had the basis to put his own aspect on it. But first he had to be sure that he could draw Oda's work perfectly before he could do anything to add his own to it, which was really cool. And they've created these 3D they're like 3D,
It's a 3D map of the entire One Piece world.
Yep. And they've got
so
each of the islands with details of the trees and the buildings and just so that they know exactly how to draw it. And some people are upset because they thought these were actually going to be parts of the show. And they're not. These are literally all just for reference. There's no aspect of those things that we saw that will actually be drawn into the show as they were.
Right. Because they said specifically in the big because they did a big interview thing, and I didn't get to watch the whole video. I just did a video over over the highlights. And what it was is they said they designed that so because Oda told them, like, look, don't make a carbon copy of what came before. Don't do that. I'm giving you guys a little more carte blanche. And they're like, whoa, hold up. Okay.
We don't want the carte.
we don't want carte blanche. Okay. And so what they did is they are still going to tell the exact same story that Oda told.
Yep.
But what they're going to do is they built that model so that way they can go into the world where these events happened. And then when they decide to draw theirs, when they make their anime, you're going to see it from a different perspective.
Yep.
You're not going to see the fights from the same angles you saw them before. You're not going to see the characters and the events happen from the same angles you saw before.
Or sometimes you might, but at the same time, part of it is a lot of what was Oda. Someone made a comment and Oda was very, very humble. Oda Sensei was very humble and said, yes, but of course, I was in my 20s when I started. And it was this idea that the art that he does now is so much better than the art that he did then, which it's been 25 years. If he hadn't improved, there'd be something really wrong.
Absolutely.
But people are so beloved of what exists now, both in the manga and the anime, that when they go back to the original anime or they try to bring people into the anime with the original stuff, people are like, this is what it looks like, or this is like, it feels very 1990s in a lot of ways. And it feels 1990s for kids. And now One Piece is for everyone, and especially adults. And they wanted a somewhat more mature, more adult, more cohesive looking art form. And I mean, I'm sorry, the fact that Oda Sensei said, go ahead and put your own spin on it is just almost mind blowing to me, because most artists are like, no, or yes, but it better be exactly as you know what I mean? Like to say, I'm still making this story and you can now take it and do your own thing with it to a certain degree is just the confidence that requires this, the self-understanding that requires is just, wow. Yeah,
it absolutely is. So before we get to the new announcements today, this is the cast we've currently got right now.
I love this. I love almost every single one of these castings. I am fully on board. I mean, okay, some of them I've never seen them act, so I don't actually know that they can portray the character, but I would never understand. I wouldn't know if they could portray these specific characters, to be honest, until I've seen them playing these specific characters, because many of these are very unique characters.
Yes.
But as for
Isn't everybody in One Piece a very unique character?
yes, they are. But as for at least really feeling like they walked off the page, like this is what they should look like, this has been an amazing casting. Just like season one was an amazing. There was only one casting in season one that I ever heard serious complaints about, and I would personally agree. And that was Ben Beckman. They made him kind of look like dad body and like older than he should. And we're like, this is the scariest gunner in the world. Why? What? But except for Ben Beckman, who's especially in season one, a very small character you only see in like 2 scenes. Everyone else was almost perfect.
Yeah.
Literally, like they walked right off the fucking page.
Well, and that's what we've got so far. I mean, if you just look at the shots that they put next to most of these actors, I mean, you can see them as their characters. The only one that on this one that I'm a little questionable on is just how young Callum Kerr is for Smoker.
Do you know how old Smoker's supposed to be?
I guess not, because he just always comes off as this grumpy old 40-year-old man.
No, he's like 30 or 31 or younger than that.
Okay.
Because it's the white hair, but he's had white hair since he was a small child. It's just a hair color thing. It's an anime hair color thing.
Right.
Which is one of the reasons why he's always portrayed with basically that cold doesn't bother him, and he's always got his shirt open and he's always got his cigars and everything. That 8-pack and the way he moves is supposed to help tell you that he's much younger than you think he is. And that actually got me in the beginning too. I was like, I really like Smoker, but I'm kind of confused. And then I mean, I can look it up, but I looked it up at one point, and because there was a thing about like ages of all of the characters in One Piece, and I was like, holy shit, he's a lot younger than I realized. Okay, 8-pack makes sense now.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I just figured it's because he's a fucking anime character and they're all supposed to be fucking monsters. So like
then again, Silver's Lee is in his 60s and he still has an 8-pack and can swim and beat up Sea King. So maybe that isn't a good enough reason to say that he's younger, but he is.
Well, and Clive Russell, I've seen him in a lot of things, and as Crocus, like the cranky
it'll be dry, it'll be snarky, it'll be great. It'll be
everything Crocus is supposed to be. Yeah. Yep. Like I think it's gonna be great. I mean, other than that, like the casting looks like spot on as far as their faces and everything else. Like it's gonna be funny to see Wapool, and like this guy's got the look for it. And I mean, this kid looks right here. He looks like the little douchebag that Mr. Nine would be. You know what I mean? Like, and just,
Mr. Nine is a bit of a douchebag in some ways, but he does protect his partner.
Right.
He even protects his partner against others of the group. So I think he's gonna do well.
And this is the other one I want to comment to was David, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name, but this guy has always been really good at playing the weird, quirky, awkward kind of characters.
But he also plays genius really well.
And he also plays bad guy pretty well.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And so I think he's going to do well as Mr. 3. I don't think they could have asked for somebody that's known. I think he's going to do
well as Mr. 3 in this, but I think where he's going to excel, hopefully he signs the contract to stay on, and hopefully it continues. The Mr. 3 in Infell Downs.
Yeah.
He's going to be amazing in Infell Downs if we get to that point.
That would be, we're going to get there. The show, like I said, Oda's got a golden ticket over there at Netflix. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. This is going to go on forever. As long as this is the thing, as long as they keep doing as well as what they did in season 1 and they keep that going, which as of right now, all signs point to that. Now, when we start, if we see a showrunner change or we see writers change or some shit like that, then we'll start to have to worry about red flags. But as of right now, this feels pretty solid.
There's only one other small thing that I would say, and that's Tashigi. I think she looks gorgeous. I think she will play off Mikenyu very well. She doesn't quite look like the little girl though from season 1, and I was wondering how they were going to do that, because in the anime, the reason that Zoro freaks out around Tashigi is she looks exactly like Kuina.
Oh yeah.
Like Kuina grown up,
right?
And this girl does not actually look that much like the girl who played Kuina. She doesn't. I mean,
in the series, yeah, but if you just use the argument as that was when she was a kid, she changed.
I get that. I'm interested to see how their very first interaction is going to go, because the very first interaction in the anime is Zoro going
right and
freaking out because the minute he sees her, it's so obvious that it's Kuina because it's animated that way.
Right.
So I'm really interested to see how they're going to show that she's obviously Kuina, like a Kuina copy of some kind.
Right. That'll be
interesting. And I'm excited to see how they decide to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, because she is definitely Julia is definitely a gorgeous freaking girl.
Oh, she's gorgeous, and I think she'll actually. You can put two beautiful people together; they don't always match each other. I think she'll look really nice next to Mikenyu.
Yeah, I think so too. So this is the ones that we just got announced today.
I'm super excited. Katie Seagal. Oh my god, I think she might actually be better than Jamie Lee Curtis, who everyone was expecting.
Right. And that's because Jamie Lee Curtis was like simping hard for this, but Jamie Lee Curtis might have also cost way too much. And honestly, maybe they had her read for it and they were like, nah, sorry.
End up working. Yeah.
Yeah. But, and the other thing, go ahead.
Oh my God. I hadn't thought of Katie Seagal in this particular role, but the minute oh my God, she's going to be so good.
Between Peggy Bundy, like Chris Fisk points out. Okay, night, JR24. Have a good night, buddy. Between Peggy Bundy and then when you saw her play an SOA and Sons of Anarchy.
Yes, SOA. Oh,
dude, I'm like, she's gonna be a great
Dr. Correa.
Kureha. That's what it is. Kureha. Because I always try to read it and it doesn't work the same way. Kureha. But like, she's going to be great because she could totally pull off a drunk, snarky, bitch, selfish doctor that still has a heart of gold. Like it's like, well, I don't know. Dr. Kureha's really got a heart of gold.
So young and beautiful.
Dude, and she's gonna be great because she's got the nose for it too. Like she's got the facial structure to come off as like that crazy old witch.
Yeah, she's gonna be amazing. I can't wait to see her in a soccer t-shirt.
Yeah, I know too, because I'm sure she's gonna be like, fuck, I gotta go to the gym and get a flat tummy for this shit. I gotta cut back on the beer. Mother, how am I supposed to play a drunk if I'm cutting back on the beer? This is bullshit. So yeah, but yeah, and she still looks good for her age. She's a gorgeous woman.
Katie Seagal's always been a beautiful woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a very good actress. And I'm
versatile too.
Very. And I'm actually more excited about this than I was for Jamie Lee Curtis. I really am. And I hadn't thought of her at all. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so happy.
That's a good possibility too. She's poison.
Yeah, there's that possible too.
Really? I didn't know she was a bodybuilder. Katie Seagal was? Really? No idea.
That doesn't actually shock me.
No, I didn't. I had no idea though. That's pretty freaking cool. Good to know, penis. Well, then she'll definitely won't have any problem getting in shape for that one.
Nope.
This is the other one. I don't know much about this. Is he okay? Have you seen his stuff?
Yeah, I've seen him in other things, and he does batshit crazy really well.
Good, because that's exactly what we do with Herlock.
But like Herlock, he's a cute batshit crazy. He's not like creepy batshit crazy. He's like. Yeah, it was in something that was Nordic or something like that, and he was just kind of like the crazy old man, and I was like, he was funny.
Yeah,
I think he has a certain gravitas when he stops and he tries to be serious. He has a certain gravitas. So that scene at the end of Chopper's flashback to the story of Dr. Herlick, that particular scene, I think it will have the momentum, the gravitas, like I've already said that twice, that he needs for that particular scene. Yeah. And I will be crying. And if he does as well as I think he does, I will be crying.
I can completely understand that. Well, that's good to know because I didn't know. So I think that's great. I'm glad to hear that. The casting so far has just been absolutely spot on. And whether or not they can pull it off or not is going to be a completely and totally different story. But I think we've got some good, solid casting here. I think we've got great directors that really know what they're doing and how to push these people in the right direction.
Okay. I'm now on tenterhooks. I'm now on tenterhooks to see who ends up being Miss All Sunday because so important for the rest of the entire show. And I need to know because I'm now so surprised by that particular casting that I can't even guess. I want to know who's going to be.
I do too, because All Sunday becomes what's her face, right? Robin, right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah, Robin, because I'm so far in now, I completely forget to even call her Miss All Sunday beforehand, where she came from. I remember exactly where she came from, but I always forget that it's All Sunday, because that's my problem. Because some of the rumors we'd heard, and I don't take stock in a lot of these rumors when it comes to this kind of stuff, because they've been so good about keeping this stuff under wraps.
Mm-hmm.
But like some of the people, I was like, you can't do that, Robin. Like, we can talk about the glow up with Nami and all that kind of stuff, but Robin's stacked from the fucking get-go.
Yeah, she's older than everybody. She for a while, she's the oldest member of the crew.
Right. And so like if you don't get somebody who's like what's her face? Sydney Sweeney level stacked, like Sydney Sweeney with black hair, you're probably gonna have some complaints about that one.
Also, I personally just want to get this out there, which is if I hear any fucking shit about her skin color, I'll kill somebody. They shit about they whitened her after the time skip. Okay, so woman who's supposed to be from Russia genetically,
right? Yes,
spends years working for Crocodile in a desert land, wearing short skirts and tiny tops, and ends up with a tan skin. She then spends 2 years in the Arctic North and comes back with lighter skin. Obviously, it's white supremacy.
Yeah, a fucking crazy concept. Yeah, because I literally watched. I'm like, I didn't even notice the skin tone change.
Like, you mean when she lived in the desert?
Yeah, yeah. You mean she literally lived in a desert kingdom? Is that what you're talking about?
And then spent 2 years in the frozen north with the Revolutionary Army.
Right. It's like clearly none of you motherfuckers have ever left your bubbles if you think that slowly about skin tone. Because guess what? You see the pictures of me when I worked down at the port, when I was working 14 hours a day in the sun all day long, and then look at me now. Yeah, guess what? My skin tone's lightened up a little bit since then. I don't look like a fucking mohel anymore. So yeah.
So, I mean, if they okay, let me put it this way: if they end up casting someone who feels like Robin and looks like Robin, and she happens to be have darker skin tone, I don't care. I just don't want to hear bitching about it if she doesn't.
I'm just gonna be mad if they fucking cast somebody with like an A or a B cup. I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna lose my shit.
They can, because Victoria's Secret's going back to making shit that makes those people feel better.
Are they fine? Oh yeah, because guess what? That's what actually sells and makes money. Strange concept, I know.
Yeah, they're gonna bring back the angels, and they've already started bringing back things that actually make you want to walk into the store and see, oh, that might feel fun to wear.
Right, exactly.
What they've had for the last few years, which is just boring and basic and really doesn't feel all that flattering or feminine or anything.
Nope, that's because they got infected by the exact same woke mind virus as everybody else. And then guess what else they found out too? It doesn't make money.
Nope. No, it does not.
Strange fucking concept. I know. Absolutely strange fucking concept. These days we should be happy they didn't cast an obese black lesbian. I know, right, Chris? Yes. I know, right? I know. And it was so funny too to like hear the cast talk about this show before they ever got involved. They were like, we dreamed of this years ago. And we remember sitting around going, wouldn't it be funny if you played Nami? And wouldn't it be funny if you, and it's like, and now it's like there's like 2 or 3 of them that were all like friends before this happened.
She campaigned for it.
Did
she did photo shoots. She did something else. She did everything she could to become Nami.
Oh, that is great.
And she did a damn good job as Nami.
She did.
I'm interested in how they're going to do the glow up after the 2-year time skip without making her feel uncomfortable in some way or having people come down on the show like a ton of bricks. But I think she can pull it off. She's a very beautiful girl.
She is. She's gorgeous. And some of those shirts, I mean, she didn't look too bad in some of those ones. They were nice and tight. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things with
like
the right.
In the anime, she looked exactly like Nami.
So, I mean, with the right push up, with the right support, who knows? Or I don't know. Let's find out how dedicated she really is to this show. Who knows? She might go get her some work done just to say, fuck it. I always wanted to dream. I got to be the perfect Nami. Here we go.
Will come down. If she does that specifically for the show, people will start rioting.
Well, the only people that will riot are the fucking woke weirdos on the internet.
Yes.
Those will be only ones.
But okay, if she decides to get work done for herself and or does other shows in between or something, it might be all right. But if it looks like she literally did nothing but got work done specifically for the glow up, there are going to be riots from the woke.
Fucking bring it, because that's like what, 3-4 seasons from now, even if they do it at the same pace they're doing now.
Yeah.
Like by then, you think they're a small screaming minority by that even Disney won't be paying attention to them at that point.
That's probably
so. The only people that will be paying attention to them at that point is people like me that's going to make videos roasting them, that all of you guys are still going to love watching them melt down 2 and 3 years from now, just so that we can all sit back and laugh at them and go, remember when they mattered? Remember when they were relevant?
Well, there's one other technical glow up that a lot of people aren't talking about, which is Zoro. Now, I think McKenyu's gorgeous, and he looks just like Zoro did in the beginning. And that man knows how to fight. He is amazingly well trained.
Yes.
But technically, after the 2-year time check, Zoro comes back looking like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He comes back pretty fucking jacked.
And if you check the SBS, I think it's the SBS of volume 70 something. Oda releases the chest sizes of every member of the crew. And Zoro has large chest. Zoro's chest is actually bigger than Nami's and Robin's because of this level of musculature.
Okay, yeah, because of the width.
So I'm just like, I'm thinking about, is McKenyu gonna like pull a Henry Cavill?
Well, he's probably gonna pull a David Cornsweet.
Or that,
which I guess Henry Cavill did that too. But I mean, it's like, it's one of those things. It's like, yeah. And the thing about it is he's got the body style that it wouldn't be a big deal for him to do that.
No.
And especially with like Hollywood trainers and everything else. Hi, Captain, have fun. And all of that other kind of stuff. Like, you're going to like, it wouldn't be nothing for him to do that. I mean, look how fast Corn Sweet put on the weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it wouldn't be nothing for him to do the exact same thing. And then if he does all of that and the girl and fucking Nami's standing there going, motherfucker, he's hitting the fucking mark. Somebody would give me a goddamn fucking bra. You know, like that. That's how that argument should go among fans that are making this show. You know what I mean? If Zorro's going to go get jacked, motherfucker, somebody give me boobs. You know, like, I can't see how else it would go. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But boys and girls, we're getting about that time. We've had some good fun. We've had some good conversations. And by God, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for one last laugh at the end of the night. Welcome to the Legion of Memers. Shout out to the Legion of Memers. Shout out to No Green Rocks for that absolutely epic thing. Aaron Moriarty, Starlight work done. Oh God, I know Starlight. Don't even get me started. No, we're just talking about her getting bigger boobs. That's all she needs is bigger boobs. We're not talking about that shit.
Don't touch her face.
Oh my God, that woman looks fucking horrendous now. She was gorgeous, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Such a tragedy. All right, I'm not asking you to switch to Geico. I'm telling you, boy, that lizard ain't playing around no more. That lizard ain't fucking around no more, man. I'll tell you what, he ain't fucking around no more. Boomers, weak men create hard times. Millennials and Zoomers, you're the weak men who created hard times. Fucking thank you. Thank you. Yep.
They were the hippies.
Yep. Can I have a cigarette? No, you're 5. Can I have a beer? No, you're 5. Can I drive the car? No, you're 5. Can I take hormones and change my sex? Sure, you know best.
Yeah.
I present you the worst case scenario.
Oh my God. The puns.
Wah, wah, wah. I love it. Oh, if facts hurt your feelings, you need new feelings, not new facts. Yep, absolutely. A werewolf.
I've seen that. I love that.
Me too. That's a good one. NASA to buy lightweight semi-automatic rifles. NASA employee. Wow, you guys are back early. Astronaut. Moon's haunted. NASA employee. What? Astronaut slaps magazine into rifle, sends the bolt home. Moon's haunted. I mean,
that's what you're in Space Force.
Like, exactly. Tell me. There's no fucking reason for NASA to have fucking guns. Like, there's no reason for the Space Force to have guns. Let's be completely honest, okay? Unless you're not telling us something.
The guys who guard the gate, the guys who guard the fuel and shit, they can have guns.
Yeah.
That's it.
Security forces, guys, which will probably just be from another branch anyway. Be the reason someone gets mad over a fucking meme. Amen, Scottish Ranger. Amen. Help, he's trying to give me monkeypox.
That's so fucked up.
That's great. Oh, it's true too. I thought monkeypox was a hoax. Then I saw their face. Now I'm a believer.
Oh.
The monkeys.
I used to love the monkeys when I was a little kid.
Yeah. Testicular injuries in women's sports 2020 skyrockets. Weird how that works.
God bless the Supreme Court for trying to block what they were doing to Title IX.
To Title IX. Yep. Thank God for that.
And the irony is I spent years and years protesting against Title IX because it was destroying so many wrestling programs.
Yeah.
And yet here I am praising the saving of Title IX as it is and being grateful for it. The world has turned upside down so badly.
Up is down and left is right. And guess what? It's all swinging back in the direction it should have gone to begin with.
Except you do know, historically speaking, that means by definition it will swing too far eventually, even in that direction.
The only reason it ever swings too far in any direction is because we fail as a society.
Okay, then historically speaking, we fail a lot.
No shit. That's why we need to study our history more. That's why they're constantly trying to erase it and change it.
Oh.
So, Panasonic create a fridge that drives to you when called. Nope, I do not want to get high one night and see my fridge chasing me. I got the munchies. Here I come.
That's hilarious. We have almost no smart shit in our house because my mom does not like the electronics talking to her.
No, like all of that freaking the Alexa and all that kind of stuff. No, thank you.
Even our TV, you have to hit a button and then speak. We refuse to have it just like automatic speech. No. You know, my phone is already listening to me. I know that.
Oh yeah, your phone's already constantly listening to you.
I refuse to have the TV do it too.
Yeah, exactly. I can safely say I've lived a life free of regret. How did you manage to do that, Grandpa? By being a fucking sociopath.
Well, that probably would actually. I don't think sociopaths get regret very much. They don't get many emotions, so
that's kind of the definition. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, so when is Trump's mattress tag removal trial set to begin? Yeah, no shit. Oh.
What gets me is that they can't see what they're doing. Like, so many people can't see what they're doing. Like, at least there's the people who admit, like, they know they're using lawfare. They know that they're cheating. They know that they're creating a two-tier system. But then there's the people who somehow literally can't see it. And those are the people I don't understand.
It's the same people that watched manna fall from the sky and still said, did God really say that? It's the same people.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be a good Jew and read these stories every year. Remember, like none of this should surprise you of all people more than me.
I don't know,
but it's still just as mind-boggling.
There's a small part of me that has always fallen for the lie that they teach us in childhood in the West that we have evolved beyond our baser selves.
No,
that we as a society are better than we were.
Nope. Canada dedicated to fighting against censorship of manga, anime, and video games wins election to Japanese House of Councilors. I, Speedwagon, shall allow none to harm this gentleman. I don't get it.
It's from it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure season 2 or season 1. Season 2, whatever. It's after he learns how to use the human power, and he's going to protect Joseph Joestar.
I've heard good things about that show,
they were trying to do censorship in manga, and they were trying to push certain Western ideologies, and literally it got to the point where people started standing up and going, I was never gonna run for office. I'm gonna run for office just to protect manga.
Yeah, well, and it was funny too because I remember there was a story I was reading because of one of the localization stories about how there is literally like a woke mob inside of Japan that would run around to these store owners and harass them for carrying certain things or not carrying other things. And it got to a point where like the shop owners had to like stand up and like put their foot down against these fucking people because of that. And boy, wouldn't that be nice if that would have happened in some of the corporations here.
There was one manga that did actually end up censoring something because of pressure from a feminist group in the government. And the reaction was so negative to the change or whatever it was that the president of the company came out and on national TV bowed to the people, apologized, said it was his fault, and gave back his salary for the year.
Wow.
Can you imagine an American CEO doing that?
No,
saying,
that's a fucking Chad move right there.
I'm sorry, and I understand that what I did was so egregious that I was not doing my job, and therefore I do not deserve to be paid.
Yep. And that's the problem is our shareholders in the United States are supposed to be the ones keeping them accountable like that.
That's what I had expected from Disney stockholders years ago. Like I've been watching this going, where the fuck are all the stockholders? What the hell?
Yeah. That's exactly what it comes down to. When you're dead, you don't know you're dead. The pain is felt by others. The same thing happens when you're stupid or woke.
Yep.
Except now they're feeling the pain too. They're all screaming. That's great. Even when they're stupid, they still feel the pain. Myth: gingers don't have souls. Fact: gingers don't have a freckle for every soul they steal. Yep. That's really good. Modern movie writer, 70s and 80s movies. Yep. He's watching TV. Let's do it now. Full moon. What? Real funny, guys. That's cute. When I ask how monkeypox is spread, I never get a straight answer.
Oh
Yeah.
So many puns.
So many puns. The toy aisle is currently out of order. Please use children's ball pit. Ronald McDonald's secret play space. Whoa. That makes it even worse the longer you look at it. Oh, dear God. Me in the produce section. Me finally catches up with all my bills. My car. No shit. Fucking hey, I feel that one. I feel that. $5 Fridays have been dedicated to vehicle fixing for like a couple of weeks now.
My mom's car started stalling again.
Oh shit.
No idea
yeah,
why.
we had the timing belt go out on the car. Finally got that fixed. Now for some reason we must have screwed something up while fixing the timing belt because now the power steering doesn't work on the car, but the car runs again. 2 days before we got the fucking car fixed, the tensioner pulley on the van broke. And now I got to get cobalt drill bits to drill into the fucking bolt because it's sheared off at the head, and so the shank's still stuck in there. And the problem is the stainless steel, the fucking steel, the titanium coated drill bits from fucking O'Reilly's won't work. I have to get actual cobalt bits to even drill into the damn thing, which means I need another threaded drill bit. I need a threaded drill bit adapter, not the regular angle drill bit adapter that I've got right now. So I have to get 2 more things now in order to drill this fucking bolt out. I've got everything else to fix it. Got the new part, everything. I just have to drill this fucking bolt out, and it's the failure of one, the failure of two. No, it's a Ford.
No, we have a Volvo.
Oh,
and one of the spark plugs had a problem, except you have to get the Volvo spark plugs, and they're like designed so that they can spark in the middle of a blizzard and it's 40 degrees below zero because it's a Volvo. And
right.
So they cost a fortune. And then we got those put in and things seem to get a little bit better, but the car still stalls out of nowhere randomly. Especially if it's wet and it starts to rain. Don't ask me why. And it stalls more in reverse than it does in forward.
Yeah.
And
it's probably
the mechanic went, what do you mean it stalls more only in reverse? Like mostly only in reverse. It mostly stalls in reverse. And it just looks like we're crazy. I was like, I don't know if it's physically possible or not, but it's what's happening.
Wow, and I know like my van will do that occasionally, and it's because the RPMs don't maintain properly. And so like if you reverse too fast and slam on my brakes, it'll cause the engine to go and the RPMs will die. But if when you're reversing, if you ease back and just let the idle kind of roll you back versus trying to like gas it in reverse, and then ease into your stop, it doesn't do that. It's only like when you try to reverse really fast. So you might want to keep an eye on your RPMs. That might be part of the problem. The failure of one, the failure of two, the failure of many.
Yep.
Amateur looters, professional looters. Yep. That's one of my favorite old school memes. I think it was like it wasn't a Far Side comic, but it was one of those ones, like one of those kind of styles. Mm-hmm. And the son comes to the dad and goes, "Dad, I figured out what I do with my life." He's like, "What's that, son?" He's like, "I want to go into organized crime." And he's like, "Private sector or public?"
Yeah, exactly.
What's the difference between guns and a liberal? Guns only have one trigger. You can't just wave a magic wand and make pedophilia go away. Me.
I'm okay with that.
Right? When a guy tells me he owns a gun, I'm like, "Oh, what's wrong with your dick?" I love this one. Last time I tried to use my dick on a home intruder, I got in way more trouble. The cops were pretty upset. The intruder needed counseling, and I'm on a list. Just use a gun.
Oh, I love that.
I fucking love that. Oh.
That's like Sheriff Grady in Florida, who's like, "Just so you know, if they dead, we have a lot less paperwork."
Right. Yep. Yep. If you did, we'd have a lot less paperwork. It's just easier. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying it's a lot.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
there are cops and lawyers in the state of Texas that will flat out tell you it's better just to shoot them.
Yep.
I pity the tool.
So messed up.
I love that. I pity the tool. Therapist, what's going on in your head right now? Me. My mind is on like internet browser. 17 tabs are open. 4 of them are frozen. I don't know where the music is coming from. There you go.
Yeah, that's me.
Yep. Men impose unrealistic beauty standards on women. Men fuck anything that moves. Heavy breathing. Yeah, weird. Eat the Rich includes Taylor Swift. Yep. I saw this one today and I was like, yep. I saw that one on like Twitter or something today. I was like, yep, that's accurate. Y'all forget about that. Johnny Kim, age 37, changed his career 3 times and has achieved becoming a Navy SEAL, trained Harvard doctor, and a NASA astronaut. Wesley Chu, my worst nightmare would be if Johnny's mom and mine are friends.
Yeah.
Well, you see what Johnny did? You see what Johnny did? Oh, Johnny's a doctor. He's a SEAL. He's an astronaut. What have you done with your life? Why are you still going to community college? Yeah.
Steven, he's hilarious.
If everything is so great now, why are they promising to fix everything on day one? Yeah, no shit. No shit. We're going to fix the economy on day one. Why aren't you fucking doing it right now?
You're in power, bitch. You're in power right now.
Quite literally. Got bored today, so I put a hazmat suit on and went around chalking a big red X on random people's driveways.
That's fucked up.
That's fucking great. That's fucking great. You gonna look inside that egg? Fuck no. Directed by Ridley Scott. Yeah, no shit. You look inside that? Fuck no. We're out of here. I'm lazy, chubby, and cynical. I love food, naps, and coffee. I hate Mondays, people, and exercise. I never thought I would grow up to be Garfield. So you're just saying, I just cry and boobs appear? Yes. And they ache. What are your dogs' names? Calvin and Klein. But isn't that a brand of underwear? Exactly. They're boxers. Peaks of being an artist. Money. Make family proud. Happiness. Notice how money's not on there anywhere near as make funny and make family proud or happiness.
Neither is happiness.
None of them. None of them. My alone time is sometimes for your safety. Yeah, no shit. Oh, trust me. When I walk away, when I go out to the garage, or if I have to get in the car and drive away, trust me. Yeah, trust me. I need it for a reason. That's right. I'd hit that. Good old Geiger. Rest in peace, buddy. Rest in peace. Hey, baby girl, does somebody want a dick pic? Why would I want that? A dick is a pretty big deal, babe. Oh, yeah, I've heard of it. Didn't they name a computer after it? Which one? Microsoft.
I like that one.
Not a cell phone in sight. People living in the moment. Just a tiny fart. Nobody will hear it. Ass. God, that used to blow out your eardrums in the damn theater. Holy shit. Yes. Rest in peace, Lucasfilm. Me playing Call of Duty, wondering why there's no sound. My grandfather with his new Bluetooth hearing aid. I've seen that one before. It's fucked up.
That's so wrong.
Oh, we respect our wets. The moral of the story is do not, under any circumstances, let them take away your guns. A pound of grasshoppers is 3 times as nutritious as a pound of beef.
Oh, God, I'll throw up.
Yep, exactly. Not gonna fucking happen. Not gonna happen.
And it was really funny because someone had an argument to like, how is it any different than eating insects from the ocean? You know, like shellfish and stuff like that. And I said, well, I don't eat them.
I'm Jewish. Fuck off. I'm not eating your land shellfish either.
Exactly.
That's not kosher. Oh.
And since I did actually start taking an active work to be kosher in 2005, I've done relatively well. And I have a good excuse to not eat the bugs.
There you go. I smell profit, the Acolyte. This effort is no longer profitable. Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. I didn't realize I was supposed to know how to do everything by my second rodeo. Seems like a very low amount of rodeos. Oh, Chris Fink says, the Asian parents can relate. There you go, Chris Fisk. There you go, buddy. Yeah, shellfish are the janitors of the sea. Not a fan of eating something that eats poop. I don't know, man. Lobster's pretty fucking good. Stop blowing guys, then Stop blowing guys, then baguette. Baguette, what the fuck? Did you just call me a French gay dude? LMA. Yep, a French fairy. I'm stealing that. Hey, baguette. Pondo in his baguette. Oh, I love it.
Really good tonight.
A surprise finger in the butt. Wait, did you say this sounded really good tonight? Is that what you said?
No, I said the memes were really good tonight.
Oh, okay. I thought you might have meant this sounds good tonight. Surprise finger in the butt.
No.
I fucking love that. That is a great one. I know what they look like, but you're not supposed to. You're supposed to stomp, not sit on them.
Shit.
Oh, fucking rule 34, man. Off is the direction in which I wish you to fuck. Yes. Oh my god. You know what? I like you. Triples your minigun. Hell yeah. How many licks does it take to get to the center of your soul?
Yo, I'm sorry. Owls are really beautiful and cool in a lot of ways, but they're also creepy motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, dude, they're scary and sketchy as shit. Like no doubt about it whatsoever. Oh yeah. All right, don't trust an owl. I just know this shit increases your magic power by 20%. A ring that once blocked a Roman Imperial Caligula. The blue part was carved from a single sapphire. Yep, definitely increases your magic power by at least 20%. 100%.
I'd say so.
Yeah. Me checking the electric bill. Please don't be high. Electric bill. Common nerd on a Friday. Oh, dear God. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that was absolutely freaking glorious. Shout out to the Legion of Memers. Shout out to all of you wonderful folks out there that grabbed it and gathered those. Thank you. Thank you so very much. You guys are out there doing the Lord's work, and I certainly appreciate it. Just looking to remember to turn that off. There we go. Oh, that's how they get to turn the loop off. So there we go. Appreciate all of you guys very much for that. That was absolutely wonderful. This has been a blast of a show. Shout out to our dear sweet immortal resident Aaron. That was sorry guys, that was great. And I've still got work. I've still got more work to do. I've still got to edit a video and get at least one ready for tomorrow at 2:00. But holy cow, this has been a blast. So great to hang out with him with the Immortal Rising, talk about all of that. Definitely. Yep. Excuse me, gonna have to have him back as soon as possible for that. That was an absolute blast. Chris Fisk, thanks for coming over and hanging out, man. You stuck around the entire show, and I appreciate that.
We
That's
appreciate
awesome.
it.
Yeah, we love having new faces in the chat. We love getting new
comments in the chat
subscribers.
too.
Absolutely, lots of wonderful chats, and I appreciate it, boys and girls. We're officially at 1,201 subscribers. So you guys were here tonight live when we crossed the 1,200 mark. And I appreciate that as a historical moment for all of us climbing, grinding our way back up to the top. So I appreciate that so very much, you guys. Tiny but fierce, my dear, my darling, my foot still aches for your heel. Or because of your heel, I should say. What do you got going on, my dear? What you got coming up? What are you going to do? What are you going to be doing? I don't know, all those things. Tell people where they can find you.
I am here every Wednesday, and I will continue to be here every Wednesday I can. I'm generally on Tuesdays and Saturdays on MSK, but for the next 3 Tuesdays, I will not be. This coming Monday is a replay for Devil's Angels, and I think we're watching The Fog, but we might be watching Frequency. I'm not 100% sure. I keep getting things mixed up in my head. But Devil will definitely have some posts out about it. And then on Sunday, this Sunday, is my Star Trek retrospective with Surly Durly / Moxie Dame. And we are going to be going over a whole bunch of cultures that are kind of insane. and ask for ridiculous things or expect ridiculous things from the Enterprise, and how our crew deals with such requests, and it'll be interesting. I hope.
that sounds rather fitting considering everything going on in the world right now. So
I hadn't really thought about it that way when I was first planning on what to do for this coming show, but yeah, it does actually kind of seem to be like, and we're going to be looking at everything from the totally primitive being unreasonable to the totally advanced being unreasonable, and all sides of it.
And I think that's what's nuts to think about with that too, is yeah, that's really freaking cool. So that'll be kind of funny. It's just, hey, everything for God's own purposes, right? It's kind of ironic. It's I don't know, poetic justice, ironic, whatever you want to call it, how some of that stuff just kind of ends up lining up perfectly that way. And you, like you said, you didn't even plan it. It just worked out that way. So yeah, pretty entertaining. Well, good. I hope you guys have a good time with that. Go follow Tiny on X as well, over there on Twitter. She's a fun follow over there. She has no problem ranting and raving and roasting people, and it's always a good time. So I appreciate you, Tiny. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking around, because yeah, it's what sometimes we don't always. I know a lot of people sometimes have other things going on, and we used to have people that were always here every week, and sometimes that wanes and waxes. And I appreciate you always trying to make sure you make it, Tiny, because this would be a whole lot more boring by myself. I mean, the chat's great, but we do that during the day, every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. So it's fun to have some other people to talk to. Besides just myself in the chat as well too. It's nice to have. They need to hear other perspectives besides just mine. They hear plenty out of me, so it's nice to have other people's perspectives that they can hear things out of.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. Mine as well. So thank you very much, Tiny. Thank you guys all out in the chat. So for all you guys that are still hanging out, watching, lurking, and listening over across all of our platforms, I am live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for the morning prep. You guys get to watch me come record my videos live and talk about a bunch of other pop culture nerd news that doesn't always make the cut for videos or shorts. So you guys get the most information out of me if you come out and hang out with those shows. On Fridays, we do a very special show called $5 Fridays, where you get to control how long the show goes. Normally the show only goes until 1 o'clock. You guys get to decide how long you keep my butt in the show. For every $5 donation or more, you get another 5 minutes added to the clock. I am a cheap whore, just $1 a minute, but the record right now is 3 a.m. and so that's been a really good time. Tomorrow night we'll probably be playing some video games. I don't know exactly what we'll be playing, but we've got lots of videos coming out. There's videos out there right now. If you can't help financially support the channel, I completely understand with the current economy, the situation it is. This is my full-time job, so the best free way you can help support the channel, share the links out on your social media, try to get those subscriber numbers up, try to push back against that algorithm and all of them shutting us down right now. Go comment on the videos, go like the videos, even if you only watch them for long enough to like them and comment them. All of that stuff really does help out, and I really do appreciate all of that guys stuff. You are the grease between our gears, keeping this machine running, and I cannot thank you guys enough for this. I appreciate all of you so very, very, very much. So Venus, Levistro, Jim Bone, Madhouse Retro, Chris Fisk, JR24, and everybody else that hung out until the end. I appreciate all of you guys so very much. Tiny, my dear, thank you as always. I absolutely appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen,
happy to be here.
Good. I'm glad to have you. Very happy to have you. This is Just With the Common Nerd. I bring you pop culture and all things 33 common sense lens. Thanks for watching. God bless. I love you all. And enjoy the credits. We'll see you guys tomorrow.